It is 6 a.m. in the Mile High City. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710, KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights, hottest takes from the right, left, and center. Congratulations, it's Monday morning, and you're waking up in the greatest country in history. We're gearing up for a whole nother morning of engaging discussions, critical analysis, but most importantly, your calls and texts, because this is where Denver's voice is heard loud and clear. So grab a cup of coffee, Denver. Let's dive into the issues that matter most to you right here, right now. Coming up after news and comment with Blake Olson, DJT, and Mickey D's. Talking about Donald Trump and McDonald's serving some fries, working longer than Kamala Harris did at Mickey D's. We'll get into that in the 6 o'clock hour. In the 7 o'clock hour, Rory O'Neill, national correspondent for NBC News Radio, is going to join us. Elon Musk giving away $1 million a day to voters in battleground states. Is this cash payment crossing the line? Rory O'Neill will explain Musk's lottery. Most importantly, how you can participate. In the 8 a.m. hour, did you hear the audio of the guys calling out Christ is King, Jesus is Lord, and then Kamala Harris saying, maybe you're at the wrong rally. Are Christians welcome at Kamala's rallies? Or were they being disruptive? And then probably the craziest story in the Wall Street Journal, what new brain chips are going to do. This is crazy and might be coming to your head here soon. So lots to cover, but good morning, Bill. Did you have a good weekend?
It was a busy one. It was a busy one, but decent. How about yours?
We saw George. We did the Back the Blue event. My wife and I did out in Elbert County on Saturday night. Saw George out there. 800 people.
Nice. Oh, that's nice.
Back in the Blue out in Elbert County. And you got to love it. The most popular thing they were auctioning off.
Yeah.
Guns.
Oh, nice. What kind?
I mean, everything from AR-15s to Glocks to SIG Sauers. But the most popular gun was the Winchester, like the little, you have like the thing underneath.
Single action.
Single action. That's the word.
See, everyone out there tells me I'm a gun guy. I know my stuff, man. I know my stuff. I'm a gun owner. I get it.
And they like designed it so well. $6,500.
Nice.
Went for.
That's really good.
But I was joking with some of the law enforcement guys. I'm like, the Back the Blue effort in Denver, I don't think they auction guns off.
No, probably not. No,
just out in Elbert County.
No, it was just a busy weekend. Had lots of stuff going on. Got to watch a little bit of soccer. My team lost. Well, my son's team won. Good for him. I watched a little football yesterday and did a lot of FM radio. A lot. Yeah. From Friday afternoon.
Voice heard loud and clear.
Yeah, from Friday afternoon until yesterday afternoon, I did 30 hours of recording. Yeah.
And how you're still standing is amazing.
Yeah. Got a little old. The final shift was a little bit like, I'm running out of stuff to talk about. But the cool thing was on the classic rock format, it was a battle of the frontman weekend. So it was a Van Halen 2-shot every hour. So it was early in the hour, we'd do either a Sammy Hagar, and then later in the hour, you do a David Lee Roth. And Van Halen's just a very, very fun band to talk about. There's a lot of really cool lore. There's a lot of great stories. Wolfgang Van Halen now being a music artist in his own right. There's just so many fun things. And what the band was doing early on. There's so many good stories about the first version of Van Halen. And then the story about how Sammy joins the band is fantastic. And then where Sammy takes them, and then eventually how they fall apart right around at 95 when they're recording Balance. There's in fact one song on that album in which Sammy Hagar talks about how he knew it was over because Eddie and Alex wanted the song and the lyrics to go one direction, and that wasn't the way that Sammy wrote. And he reflected on it saying, that's the moment where in my mind I understood this relationship is coming to an end, that this is no longer going to be fruitful for either one of us. And this is just going to have to end. He said no hard feelings or anything. He just knew, well, this is creatively, we're just not going to continue to go in the same direction. So that was really cool. I just talked a ton of Van Halen.
How do you do the switch from that to now Donald Trump and McDonald's?
It's just different parts of my brain. It scratches different itches, and it is so much fun. And the stuff on the music stuff, and I'm going to be doing some music stuff later today, and I'll do some other music radio tomorrow as well. And it's fun. It's just a totally different vein. It's a totally different kind of a thing. But there's some things that I do here that I take over there, and there's some things I do there that I bring over here, because there are some talents and some things you do that cross apply, especially the storytelling aspect of it. That you got to lean into, got to understand how to tell that story. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's kick it off with news and comment. Blake Olson. Good morning, Blake.
Good morning, man. Billy always has that marathon going over the weekend. I don't know how he does that. That is awesome. All right. Good to talk to both of you. 46 and cloudy in Denver, expecting a high of 70 today. The 7-10 5-day forecast coming up. Our top story.
Look, I know many people, if you say I'm tired of this, trust me, I am too. We're fatigued. We're fatigued from it.
Yeah, Timmy No Walls Ladder Factories is tired. He needs Billy's schedule. He's tired, and he's only been on the job for, I think, a few months. So the campaigns continue. Former President Bill Clinton wrapped up a 4-day bus tour through North Carolina for Kamala Khan. Second gentleman. Not so sure if he's a gentleman. Doug Emhoff and former President Obama have campaign stops this week in North Carolina, while DJT begins a two-day swing through central North Carolina today. On Sunday, he went to work, as Jeff mentioned, at McDonald's in Pennsylvania, something that Kamala Khan's never done before, even though she said she worked at McDonald's. So Trump is in the drive-thru, and some Americans got the chance to be served by DJT. Great moments.
I could do this all day. I wouldn't mind this job. I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Mr.
Look at that. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Nice to see you.
You made it possible for ordinary people like us to meet you.
You're not ordinary.
I mean, thank you so
You
much
are
for
not
everything you're
ordinary. I
doing.
can see.
We pray for you, and you are the type of person we want to be the president.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So nice.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Yeah, I took a bullet. That's right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
When you think about it, I guess that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That is awesome. 60 minutes. Did you like it, Jeff?
Oh, so my first job was at Mickey D's. Worked
Yeah?
at the one off of Hamden down in Inglewood, right across from the old Cinderella City.
How did you remember that address and everything?
Well,
Come on.
yeah, right. Rode my bike
Kamala
down
Khan
there.
came. Oh, that's awesome.
And I was 15, wasn't even allowed to work in the kitchen. I had to work the drive-through. And
That's so cool.
they had like a little hut that was built by Tough Shed. Instead of a speaker, you'd drive up and just talk to me, and then I'd fill it out. and
Yes.
all that stuff.
I remember that one.
It was a great job, because if you really like people and you like interacting with people, your job would go by very quickly.
Mhm.
And it brought back a ton of memories. I love the fact he did that.
Same here.
I think it shows he's got a ton of confidence going into the final 2 weeks of this election. He's not scrambling. They're not trying to hold base rallies in states that should easily go for Trump. He's out there having fun.
Yeah.
I think it all bodes very well for him.
You know, one of the great PragerU videos is I learned more working at McDonald's than I did in college. That is a great video. And I think there's a book that's entitled something like that. But no, I feel like he has a lot of confidence going in. Just got to keep on working.
Do you ever
plugging away.
work at fast food?
No, I didn't. I tried to avoid it. My best friend did, and he would come over and in between shifts, and he was like, God, oh my God, this is horrible. Now, my oldest boy, he just worked at Wendy's over the summer, and it was a great experience for him. I mean, it beat him down, but it's great. I work construction instead.
Yeah,
something a little easier. Because those Mickey D jobs, man, they can wipe you out.
I gained 25 pounds that summer.
Did you?
I did.
What?
I did.
You were fat one time? Come on.
You know, I would grab like a stack of 3 or 4 sausage
That's
biscuits
awesome.
and a giant orange juice and just sit out there for 8 hours.
You probably needed to gain weight
Yeah,
anyway.
That's right. That's
Man,
right.
that's awesome. 60 Minutes released a statement admitting that they edited an answer from Kamala Khan's interview. The statement comes after 60 Minutes was caught editing the answer to make Harris look and sound better. 60 Minutes admits they edited, but claims that it was not deceitful editing or false. An 18-year-old is dead after a shootout with police in Aurora on Sunday. Officers called to an apartment complex in the 1900 block of South Vaughan Way late Saturday night after a man allegedly assaulted a woman and then threatened others with a firearm. Police helped arrange a safe exit for the woman while the suspect remained in the apartment. Investigators say the suspect came to the door of the unit around 1 a.m, began firing at officers, leading to an officer to shoot and kill the teen. The officer was placed on administrative leave. A man is dead after a shooting in Denver early Sunday. Another one, police were called to the area of Colfax Avenue and Josephine to investigate a report of gunshots. A man with gunshot wounds was pronounced dead at the scene. Police have not released any information about the victim or possible suspects. The dock in Georgia that collapsed on Saturday had reportedly been inspected within the last year. A gangway collapsed at Sapelo Island's Marsh Landing Dock during a festival that celebrates a small community of descendants of slaves. 7 people were killed and several others among the 20 who fell into the water are in critical condition. A retired Marine accused of choking to death a homeless man who was black on a Manhattan subway train is due in a New York courtroom this morning. Daniel Penny pleaded not guilty to manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide in the death of Jordan Neely last May. Witnesses say Neely was threatening and harassing people. News brought to you by Lair Fireplace and Patio, Denver's premier source for everything fireplace, patio, and grills. Locally owned and operated since 1954. Online at lairfireplacepatio.com. The New York Liberty rallied from 12 points down to a 67-62 overtime victory over Minnesota, the Lynx, in Game 5 of the WNBA Finals on Sunday night. 43 in Littleton, 40 in Boulder, 46 in Denver. Jeff and Bill continue. It is Monday. Good morning. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Cloudy to start your day. There will be some rain showers and a few isolated thunderstorms along the Front Range and mountain areas early in the day, then becoming partly cloudy. Highs will be 65 to 70, clear tonight, low to mid-40s. Mild, dry, low to mid-70s Tuesday, low 70s Wednesday. Cooling off a little bit, breezy and partly cloudy Thursday and Friday. Weather sponsored by branchplanning.com. Secure your future retirement with a reliable income stream. Annuities can provide guaranteed payments, giving you peace of mind. Get your complimentary review at branchplanning.com or call 303-219-0088. Meteorologist Don Day on the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. We are 2 weeks out from tomorrow, Bill.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, done.
It's been a lot. It's been a wild ride for somebody who started a radio show in this season. When you think about the assassination attempts, you think about the fact that a guy's debate performance ended his political career.
Yeah. It's been great to actually, be doing it during this time. But,
right?
Oh, I'm done.
So,
yeah,
Here's my question, and I'd love to hear from the listeners. We're 2 weeks out. Who's landing the plane the best at this point? I mean, it's kind of a scramble, last-minute effort to appeal to whatever one last undecided voter we may have out there.
Yeah.
I heard a comedian, I think it was Jim Gaffigan, over last week at the Al Smith dinner, who was like, have you heard them talk? Like, if we cut a clip from one of these candidates and just played it, you couldn't figure it out who it is.
No, you couldn't.
We're undecided. You're undecided at this point. But we're in the last few weeks of this. Who's landing the plane better, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? And a lot of it's going to come down to ground game operation, which you're not going to see out there unless you haven't voted and somebody comes and knocks at your door to collect your ballot. But Trump making fries at Pennsylvania McDonald's. I've worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala at this point. Fox News reporting Trump put on an apron, made and served French fries to reporters and customers at a Pennsylvania McDonald's Sunday afternoon. Former President Trump took on a new role as he cooked and served French fries to customers at McDonald's on Sunday afternoon in Pennsylvania, while dishing out plenty of jabs at Vice President Kamala Harris. Hello, everybody. It's my first day at McDonald's. I'm looking for a job, Trump said as he entered the establishment, shook hands with the owner. Thousands of Trump supporters surrounded the McDonald's restaurant as Trump spent the afternoon working as a fry cook after accusing Harris of lying about working at the fast food restaurant. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala at McDonald's, Trump said through the drive-thru window as he handed out orders. I've really wanted to do this all my life, and now I'm doing it because she didn't do it, Trump said. Trump claimed he also spoke with McDonald's about Harris's claims that she worked at the fast food chain. She shouldn't lie about it. Now, I don't know if some of the claims that the Republicans are making about the fact she never included it on her resume, she never talked about it before. But, I mean, I worked at McDonald's. I've never put that on my resume.
Yeah. That's the idea that when you're running for attorney general, senator, McDonald's is going to be and again, if she was and she was doing that, they'd go, why is she saying this about McDonald's? And again, from everything, just to kind of, set the keel even on the boat, everything that Donald Trump has been saying about Kamala Harris and working at McDonald's hasn't been proven. Is it a single thing? McDonald's hasn't come out and said one way or another that she did work there or she didn't. But there were Republicans that were floating a story a while ago that she got fired for stealing from McDonald's. But not true. Not true at all. And the idea that, and Donald Trump tells a story. They give you
enough free food anyways.
I know, but Donald Trump tells a story about he went and he talked to somebody, or his campaign talked to somebody at the McDonald's where she supposedly worked, and they don't have any record of her working there. And that's not true. It didn't happen. And the person they referenced said they were working there with the time that Kamala was there. 40 plus years, really. Yet somehow we don't have any record of this 40-plus year employee ever making any sort of a statement. And we don't know who this employee is. Again, it's a tempest in a teapot. And this is the idea is, and Donald Trump come in going, I've always wanted to do this. What stopped you? What stopped you? When you're 18, 19, 20, 20, what stopped you? He could have.
Making more money.
I know, but the idea is if this is something that he wanted to do, he, of all people in this country, had the ability. He didn't have to worry about feeding his family. He didn't have to worry about paying rent. Never had to worry about it. Where most people have these worries with these low-income jobs. He didn't have to worry about it. Yet he's like, I always wanted to. No, he didn't. He didn't want to at all. No, because he never did. This was never a desire of his. And the reason that he's playing this is because he's worried that Kamala's statement about working at McDonald's makes her appeal to the average person. That's the only reason he showed up at this closed McDonald's and stood around with a bunch of supporters for a while. Because again, the McDonald's was closed. He didn't work there. It wasn't open. You couldn't go there. I couldn't drive up. You couldn't drive up and order anything during this time because the restaurant was closed.
Well, the dude has been shot at twice, so they might want to take those types of security precautions.
Restaurant was closed. You didn't work there if the restaurant was closed. You can't sit there and say, I spent a shift at McDonald's. No, you didn't.
I saw it as, aside from the Kamala Harris, if she ever worked there, was it ever on her resume? I found it awesome. The photo op, the hanging out with people, the people coming through the drive-thru. I always used to love to watch the David Letterman skits when he'd work in the drive-thru as well, because it's just kind of fun. And to see DJT closing out the campaign last 2 weeks, having fun, as opposed to scrambling around. I can't really tell you what Kamala did other than what we're going to get to later, which was tell the guys yelling Christ is King, Jesus is Lord to go to a different rally. But
she did do a rally in church yesterday.
I don't know what she did. Yeah, did she do a rally in a church?
Yeah, she was in a church yesterday.
Was she having fun?
And she was in service yesterday as well, something that both Donald Trump didn't do.
Yeah.
Wasn't in service yesterday. Yeah,
was Trump at the Mickey D's on Sunday or Saturday?
I think it was Sunday, But even then, what he didn't do and what he hasn't done in the past 6 months is 10 services.
Yeah, he's not a churchgoer.
No, he's not.
Something I would love to see from him.
It's an odd. But we will get into that one later. That's a topic for later. We're going to talk about McDonald's right now. And it was a good photo op. It's a good visual for Donald Trump. Did he win any votes, though? Does this event win him any votes? And that's the question I've got with some of Kamala's events as well. Are these winning any votes? The one thing I believe that Kamala is doing that we didn't see with Hillary is Kamala is trying to close the deal. Hillary at this point was taking the rest of the time off. She was measuring the drapes in the Oval Office and she was planning her cabinet. She wasn't doing these kind of events. She wasn't going into places and still making speeches. And that's what Kamala is doing. So I think she is trying to, as they say, as you will enjoy this being a runner yourself, she is trying to go all the way through the tape.
Yes.
She's trying to break the tape. And that's what she's trying to do.
The actual finish line's 5 feet past.
Yes,
the
exactly. Yeah, exactly. She's not pulling the Hillary Clinton or the Leon Lett and start doing your touchdown dance 5 yards before you get in the end zone and then lose the ball.
Now, can George Brockler do that?
That's the thing is because of George, he doesn't feel like it. And I've talked to him.
He was out there working on Saturday.
Yeah, and I've talked to him offline, and he's like, "I'm not wired that way." He goes, "It doesn't look like my opponent is even trying." He said, "But I can't assume my opponent isn't even trying." He goes, "That's the worst thing to do in these situations is to assume that you have this one." He goes, "That's the worst thing you can possibly do."
The non-visible ground game operation, right? They're not going on radio. They're not going on television. They're just collecting ballots is ultimately what's going to win this. Both, I think, the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal brought this up over the weekend, that's going to close the deal. You're not going to see it. And I remember being shocked in 2012 when Obama won because we never saw any Obama yard signs in Colorado. You didn't see them. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, this big blue wave crest. I hope Republicans have learned from that. It seems like guys like Charlie Kirk are marshaling in that type of strategy to close the deal. Vote early, get your ballot turned in, go knock doors, chase the ballots, because those are actual points on the board.
And this will dovetail nicely into our conversation with Rory O'Neill next hour, is the conversation about Donald Trump's ground game, because that is being managed by Elon Musk right now and his Super PAC, which is interesting, isn't it? Because let's jump back in time about 2 years. And what was the critique of a billionaire being involved in the election? It was Zuckerberg. You remember the Zuckerbucks?
The Zuckbucks.
Yep, and the Zuckbucks. And what was the issue there? The issue was that he had taken this giant pile of money and handed it to another organization. Zuckerberg had no ability to direct where that money went, and that was election interference. Yet we have
was it a nonprofit though?
Yeah, it's a nonprofit. Yeah.
So, but I don't think what Musk's doing is a super PAC.
I know, but hang on. You're missing the analogy. Zuckerberg did, and I'm using air quotes, election interference by taking a giant pile of money, giving it to a nonprofit that then distributed the money. Yeah. That was election interference. We have a more wealthy billionaire, and that wealthy billionaire has started a super PAC for a candidate, has taken over through that super PAC the candidate's ground game, is donating tens of millions of dollars to different states directly to fund that candidate's progress, has done an interview with a candidate on their social media platform, is now offering to pay people working for him to paid money to get people to register to vote, and is now offering what appears to be an illegal lottery in order to get people to sign a petition. Yet, you know what I'm not hearing at all? Anything about election interference. All the people that yelled and screamed, the people that called this phone, the people that texted this radio station, the people on the TV and the curvy couch in the morning yelled about Zuckerberg and his election interference. Yet here with Musk,
there's some differences.
Here with Musk,
I think there's some differences.
I know, because Musk is directing the money. Zuckerberg did not.
One is, and I don't know the full operation behind Mark Zuckerberg, but it seemed to be given towards a nonprofit, which required by law, if it's a nonprofit, can't be partisan. You have to be fair and equal. And I think there's critique over to whether or not they were actually being fair and equal.
Yeah, but so far
in the expense of the money that Zuckerberg was putting out.
Nobody's produced any proof of them not being fair and equal. They
put more money into Democrat areas than Republican areas.
Yeah, because what was the problem? So here's the idea. This is the idea is you're looking for equity. You're not looking for fairness. You're looking for equity. You're looking to see in the balance sheet that it is an equal amount of money going to Republican districts and an equal amount of money going to Democrat districts. Well, if
you're a nonprofit and you're pouring all your money into particular areas to help Democrats get elected, but that's technically illegal.
Hang on though. But your assumption is to help Democrats get elected.
Yeah.
So you're making an assumption. Yeah. And that's the issue.
And I think there's evidence to show that.
There's no evidence to show that at all.
You're putting more money in Democrat areas than Republican areas.
But that doesn't mean that you're
working. We're doing it because there's more people there.
No, you're not working to get more Democrats elected. The issue is, where was the need? The need occurred in larger urban
there's
areas.
More people there.
Yeah, and that's in larger urban areas. Yeah, it's not there to get Democrats. No, it's not there to get Democrats elected. That's the assumption because it was on the other side, and that's the issue. So because this organization that Zuckerberg had no ability to direct made these decisions, it now was that Zuckerberg interfered. Elon Musk is making the decisions, something Zuckerberg never did. Yet no one talks about it being election interference. That's like the only analogy I'm making. The only analogy I'm making
is because rich people play in elections all the time. Mm-hmm. The critique of Zuckerberg was they were given to nonprofits that are supposed to be neutral by law, and they're spending lots of money in heavily Democrat areas, helping drive turnout there.
You know what else
whereas
happened?
Republicans,
what else happened? Didn't happen. More Democrats asked for the money than Republican districts did. More Democrats demonstrated a need because they just don't magically wave a wand and hand it out. That has to be based on request, and requests have to be made. More Democrats made requests than Republicans as well, and so they couldn't go out and have it equal that we're looking for. But again, the need was greater inside of the urban areas because the funding was lacking.
The critique that billionaires are playing in elections. I mean, what's the casino dude? Adelson?
Yeah,
Adelson.
Adelson, Koch brothers, Soros.
Koch brothers. That wasn't the critique.
Again,
the critique about Zuck bucks is run through nonprofits.
Yeah, but he didn't have any ability to control where it went. He had no ability once he gave the money to them. Nobody has shown.
That's where I'm not sure it's all.
I know that you're not sure, but nobody has demonstrated that Zuckerberg had any ability nor took any action to direct where the money went. No one's shown a single letter,
evidence with
a single call.
All the money going to certain districts.
No, here's the idea.
Enough for me.
I know you're working backwards. You're like, look, all this money went to Democrat districts. I wanted to go to Republican districts too. It seems unfair to me. So obviously the fix is in. You've worked backwards. You haven't worked forward.
Or there's money involved.
But you haven't worked forward.
Strong evidence, in my opinion.
My critique is that when Zuckerberg donated to a nonprofit who then made choices with the money that he was not privy to, that was election interference. But yet we have another billionaire taking a super PAC that takes over the ground game for a candidate. And we're like, this is fine. Not having the same critique. I'm just looking for the intellectual consistency on the critique of the billionaire moving in.
The critique is not about billionaires being involved in elections. They do that all the time.
Yeah, it was
my
just
critique was whether or not it was
Zuckerberg.
Fair in a nonprofit. All right.
Yeah.
What to talk to you about my good friends over at Colorado's Best Roofing. If you're like me, you know that living in Colorado means dealing with unpredictable weather. Hail, snow, heavy winds, you name it, we've got it. That's why you need a roofing company you can trust, and that's Colorado's Best Roofing. They're local, family-owned, and have served the Denver area for over 12 years. They understand our unique climate and know how to build a roof that lasts. Whether you need a repair after a storm or a whole new roof, Colorado's Best Roofing has got you covered. And here's what I really love. They offer a free, no-obligation inspection. They'll come out, take a look, and give you an honest assessment. No pressure, no gimmicks, just straight talk from the pros. Plus, they work with your insurance company to make sure you get the coverage you deserve. So don't wait until the next big storm hits. Give Colorado's Best Roofing a call today at 303-797-7663 or visit them at roofingcolorado.com. That's 303-797-7663 or roofingcolorado.com. Trust the best. Colorado's Best Roofing. Here's the question I got for the listeners. I'd love to get to back to the original discussion about Trump at McDonald's, Kamala Harris spending Sunday at a church. who's landing the plane the best the last 2 weeks? Who's showing up at the right spots, communicating the right message, giving a positive feel as we finish out this historic presidential election? What do you think? Who's getting the best vibes, best feel that they're heading? I thought that Donald Trump heading to McDonald's was fantastic. I love the visual. I thought he looked at it. It was fun. It was jovial. Trump seems to be confident. I think that communicates a lot as he finishes the last 2 weeks of this campaign. How about Kamala Harris? What is she doing that's impressing you? Or is she seemed to be scrambling the last 2 weeks? Give me a call, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line, 720-819-5115, 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
At this hour, I'm Christina Owayo in Dallas, and here are your top stories. Thousands of people lined the streets, filling up blocks, sometimes 20 deep, just to catch a glimpse of President Donald Trump as he worked the fry station in the drive-thru at a McDonald's in Bucks County.
This is all on Trump. Oh, I'm allowed to do that, right? Yeah.
Let's check and make sure it's everything you said it would be.
It better be. It's going to be the best yet. I made it myself.
You're the man. Make America
That's
great.
it. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good time.
Trump saying the reason why so many people show up to his events is simple.
Look at the crowd over there. Look how happy everybody is. They're happy because they want hope. They need hope. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to give, much more than hope. We're going to take hope and make it fact.
Yes. Please don't let the United States become Brazil, my native Brazil.
We'll keep it good.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Nice to see you.
You made it possible for ordinary people like us to meet you.
You're not ordinary.
I mean, so much.
So nice.
Taking the bullet.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I took a bullet. That's right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
When you think about it, I guess that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
A busy weekend as usual for the president, who held a rally in the Commonwealth Saturday night in Latrobe, then hit the McDonald's on Sunday before hosting a town hall in Lancaster, where he talked about inflation, job growth, and fracking. That's what you need to know at this hour. In Dallas, Christina Owayo, Salem News Channel.
They're not allowed to play this on a Monday. This is like violation of the rules. This is a Friday song.
Reminding us it's Monday. Stupid machine.
Kicking it off on the Jeff and Bill Show. Good morning. Let's go to the phone lines. Barney, always good to hear from you. You're on the Jeff and Bill Show. Good morning.
Good morning.
I know it is, Jeff, but before I talk about what I want to talk about, I got to give Billy a compliment. He knows I'm going to say he's full of crap. He knows I'm probably going to say his head's up his butt, whatever, but he always lets me through. So give Billy some kudos.
Thank you.
We know he's a smart guy, but he'll let the people through he probably doesn't like. I'm sure I'm not on Billy's Christmas card.
Nah, we probably aren't exchanging Christmas cards, Barney, but that's cool. It's fine, man.
But that's okay. So before I talk about Zuckerberg, you got to love Obama telling the brothers what to do. I know quite a few black guys. I can just tell you from my experience, you don't walk up to a black man and tell him what to do. Maybe white dudes for liberals like Jeff Bridges and Ben Affleck, you know, men with vaginas, you can do that, but not the black guy. That was a really bad call. Just keep that in mind, Billy. You don't go around telling people how to vote, especially the black man. But going to Zuckerberg, and by the way, what's her name? Kamala? We knew that she doesn't, well, I mean, we know from what we hear. I'm sure she's a smart woman. She just doesn't sound very smart. But after seeing the Bret Baier interview, who I don't like, I've never liked Bret Baier, give him a lot of kudos for what he did. He was right on. He wasn't out of line at any of the questions. And she turned in, she made Hillary look like an angel. That's all I'm going to say.
Now,
but
Barney, on that one, what I want to say, hang on, Barney. All I want to say on this is that for everybody that is called into the radio station here, both our show, Peter Boyle's show, John Caldera's show, all the shows, and giving Bret Baier compliments on the way that he conducted that interview, I'm just going to remind everybody, stop bitching when I interrupt a guest. Okay? Just saying. Stop bitching about it. I'm just, other than that, I know. Other than that, we'll keep going. All right, keep going, Barney. Tell me about Zuck.
Keep in mind, I'm being honest with you. The only reason I listen to Fox is for gut bill. I'm just saying. I hate the guy. Didn't like the guy.
Oh,
I've given him kudos because I couldn't stand him for 5 years. But the bottom line is, she looked worse than Hillary. I couldn't believe my eyes. So that's awesome. But Zuckerberg admitted that they leaned on him, that he was pressured into, which he really wouldn't have been. But he was pressured into it. And God bless
into what? Into what, Barney?
Elon Musk.
Wait, he was pressured into what?
He was pressured into doing his crap with the holding back, like the Hunter laptop. He was taking ads down. Facebook was taking, because and the thing with COVID too.
Yeah.
They did it on purpose.
That's I know, but that wasn't my point though about the election interference side of things as far as the comparison with Elon Musk, and that is a fair critique. And Zuckerberg says that he wished he would have pushed back more, and he wished that they didn't take as much, and they would have been more public about what the government was doing. You know what he didn't say though? He didn't say that the government coerced him, which would be illegal. He didn't say the government said you better do this but no, Barney, no, that is a legal statement. Yeah. It's like when Donald Trump comes out and says he's mad about the editing of an interview with Kamala Harris on CBS, that he wants to revoke the license. That breaks the rules as far as being illegal. What the government did in asking Facebook to take it down is not illegal. The government conducts pressure campaigns all the time and all sorts of social influencers and elsewhere. Those companies can or cannot abide by it. But again, there was no rule. The government didn't say we are going to shut down Facebook or anything else. Zuckerberg got directives from the government. They asked him to take him down, and he followed. That's it. That's all.
Okay, well, Billy, I've come to realize that our government is corrupt. They do illegal stuff all the time. Like, you got to love the DOJ going after West Virginia. That's awesome. You telling me that that's legal? No. It's a bunch of corrupt little bureaucrats.
It has to do with the purging. It has to do with the purging the voter rolls so close to the election. Exactly. As to whether or not someone who could be purged has to have. But hang on. No, but the issue is whether or not actual citizens would be denied the right to vote based on that purge.
Too bad.
Oh, so you'd say so if you were so Barney, if we did a Colorado purge and in that purge your name was caught up with it and you should be allowed to vote, but you were caught up in the purge and you weren't allowed to vote in the cycle, your comment would be too bad. I know. No, but they didn't purge. They didn't purge all non-citizens. There were some other people that weren't. There's some questions. No.
You guys always say
No,
Give
I
me
didn't
a
say
break.
that. No,
You
but
have
I'm just
to-
saying
no,
you're.
no,
But
liberals say that.
no,
Liberals
but
say
the
that.
DOJ
I'm
is
saying to you,
the DOJ.
look, they take me off the voter rolls, which they won't now because I'm unaffiliated. But don't worry about it. Not in my county. I'm not going to be taken off the voter rolls. But the bottom line is, you guys do this all the time. What are you
You
so
guys?
worried about? I know what we're worried about. We're worried that you guys are
Who's
going
you
to
guys?
flip and goddamn register everybody you can.
Who's you
Get
guys?
people included.
Who you lumping me in with? What
Billy.
you guys? What you guys?
Billy, you guys. Oh yeah. Okay, let's go with that.
What you guys? No, I want to know. No, I want to know who you. I'm not a Democrat though, Barney. I'm not a registered Democrat,
but
nor
you're
have I
a
ever
liberal.
been a
Okay.
registered Democrat.
Why do liberals not care about the open border? Then just
No,
tell
Barney,
me.
Barney, why are you
Liberals
calling me
don't
Barney? Why are you
care
calling me a
about the open
Democrat? I've
border.
never been a registered Democrat, nor
Okay,
am I a
I
registered
apologize,
Democrat.
Billy, you're not a
But
Democrat.
you
You're a
you constantly do this.
blatant
You sit there. No, I'm not. No, I'm not, man.
You're
I'm
a blatant
unaffiliated.
liberal and you
No,
vote
I'm not.
Democrat 90% of the
No,
time.
no,
Let's
not at
go.
all.
Yeah, you do.
No,
It's
that's not
okay,
what I did.
Billy.
That's not what I did
So
on my
do my
ballot
sisters,
here.
but I
That's-
still
But it's
love them.
okay. No,
I still
Barney,
love them,
I
Billy.
appreciate it. No, Barney, I appreciate it, but you're making a whole bunch of assertions and assumptions that aren't true. You have no idea how I voted my
Billy.
ballot, and I voted for both
I
Democrats
have
and
a
Republicans
really
on my
good
current
idea,
ballot.
Billy. You probably wear John Denver eyeglasses. I can spy you guys a mile
John
away.
Denver, actually,
Maybe
you
got
mean
a ponytail.
Barney? I appreciate the phone call. Thank you, but the phone
John
the insult
Denver
the insult you were
eyeglasses?
doing at the eyeglasses is supposed to be Elton John, not John Denver.
Yeah,
Because
I
what
was
you're
gonna
trying to
say,
do is you're trying to
John
make me
Denver wore
flamboyant.
some great
yeah,
glasses.
Because what he's trying to do is he's trying to make me both flamboyant and gay. Is what he's
I
trying
like
to do with the
El-
insult
El-
there, and that's Elton
John's
John.
sunglasses
That's Elton
are
John
pretty cool.
sunglasses, but not Oh well, though. You just got to make sure that if we're going to insult me, use the right insult, please. Just be accurate.
Give us a call. Phone lines are open 303-696-1971. Look, with all the work I've had done to my teeth, believe me, finding a good dentist makes all the difference. I'd like to talk to you about Dr. Mike and the Rocky Mountain Dental Group. Dr. Mike was in studio Friday. We've got a whole new ad campaign coming out with him. This guy is great. We were talking about the Chow pinhole surgical technique, why this is important, especially if you're in your 40s or 50s. It's a great time frame to get that done because you don't want to spend the next 20, 30, 40 years of your life dealing with pain, because what happens, he was telling me, is if you get that receding gum line and you don't get it fixed, it's going to start to affect the strength and thickness of your jawbone. Yikes, right? You don't want to leave that unattended to, because it's just going to get worse and worse. You got another 30, 40, maybe 50 years of your life. And he has partnered to come up with a technique called the Chow pinhole surgical technique that requires no cutting, no sutures, and no downtime. The pinhole surgery is so painless that many clients go on to have other areas of the mouth treated as well. They also offer sedation if you have any apprehension at all. So why not get this taken care of so you can enjoy the great rest of your life without having pain in your mouth? Schedule a free consultation with Dr. Mike. Call 303-233-1335 or visit RockyMountainDentalGroup.com, RockyMountainDentalGroup.com to book your free consultation today. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. It's that time of the morning because the bosses are still asleep. That we have some fun with You Choose the News.
Yes, sir. It is that time of the morning where we get to make questionable decisions because nobody in charge is awake yet. We call it You Choose the News, America's favorite fake radio news game show. I have scoured the interwebs for moments this morning to find really, really dumb stories about us humans and then given them headlines to play this fake radio news game. Alrighty, gentlemen. Blake Olson in the newsroom. Jeff Hunt here in the studio. Here are your choices, gentlemen. Choose carefully. Headline number 1, Shakespeare approves. Headline number 2, table for only one. Headline number 3, poverty program success. And headline number 4, anger, lacking knowledge. Your choices, gentlemen.
Let's start with Shakespeare approved.
Yes, Shakespeare approved. It is official. Musician James Blunt gets to keep his name. But, what rose by any other name would smell as sweet or play just as good music. But what recently happened is James Blunt on social media made a challenge to his fans that he would allow them to pick his brand new name if the 2004 debut, the 20th anniversary edition of his Back to Bedlam album, returned to #1 this week. Yes, if his album got up to #1, he would allow the English public to choose his name. They chose the name Blunty McBluntface. But however, he fell short. His album only landed at #7. So we don't get Blunty McBluntface, which if I would have known this, I would have gone out and bought at least 4 or 5 albums. Just because I want Blunty McBluntface, which I love because
I feel like something that would be apropos in Denver.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing is it comes from years ago when they were allowed to choose the name of a tugboat.
Yes, that's right.
And it was Bodie McBoatface. And so everything since then has been whatever it is, McFace. And so Blunty McBluntface is perfect. So I'm a little disappointed. Again,
did they ever go through with Bodie McBoatface?
Yes, they did. Yes. Bodie McBoatface exists. Yes. Which I love. I think that's fantastic. Again, this is why you do not ask the internet to choose names. Very, very poor decisions are made on the internet. Alrighty. Blake Olson in the news department, sir. Table for only one, poverty program success, or anger lacking knowledge?
Let's go with table for only one.
Yes, table for only one. Pizza Hut is opening up a new restaurant in New York City, but it is different than anything else you will imagine because it only serves one person at a time. It is a restaurant for one. Only a single person can occupy this restaurant at a time. It is going to happen. It's a special pop-up, of course. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get buzz about their new personal pan pizza that is coming back. So they are putting up a one-person restaurant on the corner of 50th and Center Boulevard in Astoria, Queens, October 22nd and the 23rd. If you're in New York City or Queens at the time, you can make a reservation. You're able to customize your own pizza. You can choose from new toppings, things like pesto swirl, chicken sausage, and even fresh diced garlic and caramelized onion. The booth is the first and smallest reservation-only dine-in personalized situation in New York.
Way to make it, when you make things exclusive like that, like what they did with Casa Bonita.
Yeah. And it is. It's up on the corner. It's just a one-person restaurant. I'm like, and I remember the old personal pan pizzas, back in the day when you go to pizza. Those are things with the bomb. So I like the idea they're going back to those. I think that's fantastic. All righty.
I'm right there with you.
Yep. Jeff Hunt, your final choice this morning, sir. Poverty program success or anger lacking management?
Hold on. There's a poverty program success?
Yes, there is a poverty program that has gained success. Here we are traveling to the Netherlands. The Dutch government has recently announced they have moved more than 200,000 people out of poverty. This is incredible that they are able to do this. When looking at the reason why, they said, well, it's easy. You just change the definition of who's in poverty. Once you change the definition, not as many people in poverty, problem solved. The only thing I'm worried about is that there are some Democrats here in Colorado listening to this, and they're going to do the same thing here.
That is exactly what, and frankly, it's better than getting people out of poverty by giving them lots of money, but
well, that's it. That's the end of You Choose the News. Back to you, sir.
All right, we're diving into Elon Musk next. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
That was a great intro.
That was so good.
Jeff and Bill Show brought to you by JCPenney.
Yes. Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, it is 7 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Monday, October 21. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned into the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights, hottest takes from the right, left, and center. Congratulations. It's Monday morning. You're waking up in the greatest country in history, and we are off and running with a whole morning of engaging discussions, critical analysis, but most importantly, your calls and texts, because this is where Denver's voice is heard loud and clear. So grab a cup of coffee, Denver, and let's dive into the issues that matter most to you right here, right now. Coming up after news and comment with Blake Olson, Rory O'Neill is joining us, national correspondent with NBC Radio. Elon Musk is giving away $1 million a day to voters in battleground states. Is this cash payment crossing a line? Rory O'Neill is going to explain how Musk's lottery and how you can even participate. Maybe those odds are better than playing the lotto here in Colorado. Right?
It might not be legal though.
Right.
That's the problem.
But can I get my $1 million? I'll let Elon Musk deal with the legality of it. Just write me the check. He can deal with it.
They may come back and take your money.
Oh,
you.
no.
That'd be the issue because he may not be able to award it to you. Yeah. And then we have a question about whether or not if you will award it to him. And have you seen that? Oh my gosh, we haven't even talked about that.
Oh, but I see a tweet of Christine, who was today's recipient of $1 million.
Yeah. Again, we'll have to see if, again, not legal, and we'll see if it happens because, the Trump campaign and the Harris campaign have been running contests and things through emails and stuff about come and have dinner with either Trump or Kamala if you do the things. They've been able to verify the Harris winners. Nobody's been able to verify a Trump winner.
Really?
Yeah. Nobody's been able to verify a single Trump winner.
I've always wondered if those are actually happen.
And this is the reason why it's interesting is because, again, let's jump in the Wayback Machine with a friend of the show and host here at KNUS, Peter Boyles, the liberal reporter here in town, Saltzman. They famously ran a contest without a winner years ago. And Peter was the one that pointed that out, that they ran a contest and they never actually awarded a winner. You can't do that.
Saltzman, he wrote for who?
Oh, it's whatever the liberal independent paper is here, and I can't remember it off the top
I feel
of
like
my
there's
head.
8 of them now.
Yeah, but So, but again,
Colorado polls or something
like that. Again, I got nothing against him. Never, talked to him a couple of times personally. We got not a personal thing. I just wanted to call back to the fact that Peter Boyles, because again, friend of the show, works here at KNUS, was the person that pointed out that during the contest that they ran, they never actually awarded a winner. And so far, they've been able to identify several Harris winners, but no Trump winners. Again, I'm not saying Trump didn't name winners. I'm just saying they haven't been able to verify. And the Trump campaign hasn't been able to come forward with names that were involved.
And here's a question, too, about this $1 million gift. So campaigns are going to spend money.
Yeah.
They're going to go to people like Kyle Clark.
Yeah.
Who work at Channel 9.
Yep.
Because they're going to buy millions of dollars of advertisements. So we're willing to pay money to the TVs, to the networks, to all those folks. But if you want to give away $1 million to a voter, all of a sudden now there's controversy.
Yeah, there is, because the TV station doesn't get to vote, but the person does. That's where that's the line of delineation, that giving the money to the TV station is not an entity that gets to actually cast a ballot. But when you're giving money or some sort of a favor, and I'm using that in air quotes, to the voter, now you've crossed over election law. That's the difference.
And I'm a little concerned about it because I do remember the time when they were handing out Obama water bottles to all the people waiting in line to vote. Here's the guy that you should vote for. Here's your Obama water bottle. Well, that was illegal.
I remember back in like the 40s and 50s where the politicians would have walking around money. And that's exactly what they do. They're just putting money in your hand to go and vote. So yeah, this is not anything that is brand new, but I am surprised.
It'd be so bad.
It would.
I'm just going to throw that out there. So what if you got cash for voting?
That would be awful. That would be awful.
Because you'd have money?
No, because then you're letting the person that has the most money win all the time. Because you're going to go and pay for votes.
Because they're paying for the votes.
Yeah.
Because then the unions would take the tax dollars.
Not the unions, just everybody. Just the idea of, here's the idea is, if you can write checks to enough voters in a district, then you can win. That's what it becomes. That's all it becomes. That's it. And so the idea of the balance of the money,
But how's that
50-50
different than
amount of
what
money.
Democrats do?
No, how's it different than Republicans do or Democrats? But I mean, I
Democrats
understand what
are
you're
vote
talking
for
about.
us. We're going to fund your welfare system.
No, but the difference is
The
the individual
money.
payment system. Again, you can say, for welfare system, etc. You may not be on welfare at that time, but you may want that program. That is vastly different than I'm going to hand you this money to vote for me now. Vastly different.
Vastly different?
Yes, vastly different.
Vastly different.
Yes.
I don't know
Yep.
if it's vastly
Oh,
different.
yeah, it is.
I
Yeah.
see it
It's
as pretty much
incredibly different. Yeah, it is.
very, very similar.
Yeah.
Vote for
Direct-
us, and you're going to end up with a lot of money.
Direct payment versus systems. Yeah, different. Totally different. And also one is prohibited by law. The other is not. That's a huge difference.
I don't see a big difference. All right.
That's a huge difference.
Let's go. We're going to talk to Rory O'Neill about this in a second, but let's talk first with Blake Olson. Good morning, Blake.
Hey, good morning. The difference is the first one is the politicians' money, and the second one is our money.
Woo!
How
Good
about
one.
that? Yeah. See, I don't like either. How about that?
Yeah.
I definitely don't like the second one. I don't like the first one either. All right, 46 and cloudy in Denver, expecting a high of 70 today. The 7-10 5-day forecast coming up. Our top story, a suspect was taken into custody after allegedly firing multiple shots and injuring an Auraria campus police officer Monday morning. Early this morning. The incident occurred around 1:18 this morning near West Colfax and 7th Street. According to Auraria Police, 2 campus officers approached a suspect who allegedly assaulted one of the officers while trying to trespass into a car.
So look, if Jimmy Carter can vote early, you can too.
You can too. Kamala Khan's just cringe, man, like the kids say. Jimmy said that he just wanted to live long enough to vote for her. Wow, what a wish. He's done that, and they're counting the days now for Jimmy and Kamala Khan. Rim shot right there. The campaigns continue, and Trump dominated Sunday working at McDonald's in Pennsylvania. They had to close it for security purposes. You have the assets and the nut jobs trying to kill him every step of the way. So he was serving customers, and this was one of the best ones to me.
A lot of fun here, everybody.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Look at all the fake news over there. Hello, everybody.
You can fake this,
And
right?
you know this is compliments of Trump, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes.
please don't let the United States become Brazil, my native Brazil.
We'll keep it
Please,
good.
please, please.
We're going to make it better than ever, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, Mr.
Compliments
President.
of Trump.
Yes.
Have a good time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you over there.
Oh my God.
Have a good time.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see
You
you.
too, Mr.
Bye,
President.
darling.
See you.
Have a good time. Thank you.
That was awesome. Amen to that. She doesn't want the U.S. to become like her native Brazil. Meanwhile, Tim Walz, he's a little beaten down.
Look, I know many people, if you say I'm tired of this, trust me, I am too. We're fatigued. We're fatigued from it.
Wow, he's only been on the job, I think, for a month or 2 months, whatever. And they've been hiding him out recently. And Kamala Khan's really never been vetted. You know that? Nobody really knows who she is. Charlie Spearing wrote a book on her and was on Tucker. Her father hasn't been a big fan of his daughter.
Right. And this is for using her Jamaican identity to sort of defend the idea of smoking weed, legalizing weed.
Yeah.
He was horrified by that. It's the rare occasion where he just, without permission, went out and wrote an angry essay. I wish to, categorically disassociate myself from this brand that she's selling of her Jamaican heritage being the reason why she supports legalized marijuana.
Yeah, because if you actually are Jamaican, the idea that everyone in Jamaica's, Peter Tosh is
right
offensive.
It's offensive, right? He was very angry by that.
So she doesn't get along with him then, clearly.
No, and he
around
was forced
today?
to take that. Actually, he lives in Washington, D.C.
What?
Yeah.
Harris's father lives in Washington, D.C., the father who denounced her.
Right.
And evidently they live close to each other, but they don't spend a lot of time together. You'll never hear that on the mainstream media, no doubt. An 18-year-old is dead, and after a shootout with police in Aurora on Sunday. Officers were called to an apartment complex in the 1900 block of South Vonaway late Saturday night, and a man allegedly assaulted a woman and then threatened others with a firearm. Police helped arrange the safe exit of the woman while the suspect remained in the apartment. Investigators say the suspect came to the door of the unit around 1 a.m. and began firing at officers, leading an officer to shoot and kill the teen. The officer was placed on administrative leave. The investigation is underway. Everyone on board a helicopter that crashed into a radio tower in Houston on Sunday night is reported dead. Authorities have not said how many were on board, but did say one of the victims was a child. The FAA is among a number of agencies investigating the crash. A retired Marine accused of choking to death a homeless man who was black on a Manhattan subway train is due in a New York courtroom this morning. Daniel Penny pleaded not guilty to manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide in the death of Jordan Neely last May. Witnesses say Neely was threatening and harassing people. Well, it's been more than 3 decades since the Yankees and the Dodgers have met in the World Series. That's what's going to take place. Game 1 coming up this Friday at Dodger Stadium. 43 in Englewood, 44 in Thornton, and 46 in Denver. Jeff and Bill continue.
Give Billy some kudos.
Thank you.
We know he's a smart guy, but he'll let the people through he probably doesn't like.
Yes, that is true. It's Monday. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Cloudy to start your day. There will be some rain showers and a few isolated thunderstorms along the Front Range and mountain areas early in the day, then becoming partly cloudy. Highs will be 65 to 70, clear tonight, low to mid-40s. Mild, dry, low to mid-70s Tuesday, low 70s Wednesday. Cooling off a little bit, breezy and partly cloudy Thursday and Friday. Weather sponsored by branchplanning.com. Secure your future retirement with a reliable income stream. Annuities can provide guaranteed payments, giving you peace of mind. Get your complimentary review at branchplanning.com or call 303-219-0088. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Elon Musk offering $1 million, a daily prize for signing his petition. Billionaire Elon Musk said he plans to award $1 million. This is from the Wall Street Journal, by the way, a day to a randomly chosen voter who signed his petition pledging to uphold the rights to free speech and to bear arms, stepping up his efforts by his American PAC political group to boost Donald Trump's presidential prospects. The world's richest man found the Super Political Action Committee this spring to register voters in swing states and persuade them to vote for the Republican over the Democrat Kamala Harris. The splashy move by the Tesla chief executive and SpaceX founder stakes out uncharted territory in American politics, and renewed critics question whether such tactics are even illegal. Musk made the announcement at a rally Saturday night in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and gave the first check to an audience member. Put that in the bank. Run right down to the street, put that in the bank, and then make the government take it from you. We'll see if this thing can remain legal. One of the challenges we're having is like, how do we get people to know about this petition? Musk said. This news, I think, is going to really fly. In a video posted by American PAC winner John Dreyer sat on a sofa next to an oversized version of his $1 million check and urged people to head to the polls. Pennsylvania. Everyone needs to get out and vote early. To provide some analysis on this is Rory O'Neill, national correspondent with NBC Radio. Rory, how do I get to sign up for this? I live in Colorado. Can I join this PAC and get $1 million?
Sorry, you're not in a swing state. You are not.
Oh, I'm so sad. We were a swing state for a while, but only swing state. Okay.
Pennsylvania, Georgia, Nevada, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, and North Carolina. That's it.
And, this seems to blur so many lines for me. I worked in campaigns. I remember when Obama got hammered for handing out water bottles to people in line waiting to vote.
Right. Well, in this case, so as you set up, Musk is giving out $1 million in a daily lottery, but it's for registered voters in specific swing states who signed that PAC petition supporting the First and Second Amendments. There are some election law experts who say this is flat out illegal because federal law prohibits paying someone on the basis of being a registered voter. And there are other federal statutes that say whoever makes such an offer could be subjected to fines and even possibly jail time.
Wow. So do you cash the check? Does that guy run down, check, put it in the bank and go, well, I'm going to make the government take it from me? Or would they be, I know you're not an attorney on this, maybe you don't know, but would they be participating in an illegal scheme if they cash the check?
Well, they're more concerned in who wrote the check than who cashed the check.
Yeah.
That would be the issue. Now, specifically, this is the America PAC that actually writes the check. Musk may be signing it, but this is a pass-through. So Musk is not directly giving out some of this money, but it is being made available through the PAC. And he says he'll do this every single day now through Election Day. It's part of his Get Out the Vote effort, the GOTV effort to try to turn Pennsylvania red.
Now, we get these emails all the time, by the way, talking to Rory O'Neill, national correspondent with NBC Radio. We get the emails that say, yeah, win a dinner, don't donate, and you can win dinner with Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. So how is this a little different from that?
Well, because you're giving them the money, whereas, to take part in this, whereas they would be giving you, buying your vote, quite literally. Rather than the other way around. So when you say, if you give $50, you're entered to win a competition to, go have dinner with Trump or Harris, that's you giving them money. But when they're paying you money to get your vote, that's when things may cross a line.
Talking to Rory O'Neill, national correspondent, NBC Radio. Have we heard anything from Trump or Musk saying that they're going to move forward with this, or sue me, or we're reevaluating this, anything like that?
Yeah, Musk is still moving forward with this, and Donald Trump is sort of keeping his distance. He was asked about it and said, I've heard something about it. I don't know all the details, and sort of brushed it aside. So it's not like he's embracing it either. Perhaps because it might have some ramifications. We heard from the governor of Pennsylvania where this offer was made, and he thought it was appropriate for law enforcement to take a look into it. But whether or not this would be something that the FEC, the Federal Elections Commission, investigates and just says, you can't do that, you're being fined $1,000, or if it's something more serious, I don't know where we are at this point.
Yeah,
Now,
and it typically takes a while for those FEC reviews.
That's where I was
it's
going.
going to be way after the election.
That's where I was going with Rory O'Neill, national correspondent, NBC Radio. I appreciate that, Jeff, because it's exactly what I was thinking is Musk taking a gamble that it's going to take the government mechanism so long to actually move? He's going to get to do what he wants to do. And if he has to pay a fine later, so be it. He's a billionaire headed towards being a trillionaire. A fine of $1,000 a day is nothing to him. He's willing to give away $1 million a day. So is there some calculation on Musk's part that even if I am found to be doing something illegal, I get what I need out of this and I'll deal with the consequences afterwards, because more times than not, I'm just going to have to write another check. Your thoughts?
Right. Because there has been some criticism that this PAC has not been very good at its job. That it has not been doing a good job of turning out the vote, especially among younger males. That's sort of what the sweet spot of this PAC was supposed to be. And that's why they think now that this $1 million daily giveaway may finally be just the event that they need, because they were saying the ground game for this PAC had been pretty weak. The door-to-door knocking, the canvassing, the specifically going out into communities to make sure people are registered and then actually cast their ballots. So Does this just draw enough attention to the issue? Is it already mission accomplished, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, that regardless of what happens, this is already mission accomplished for Elon. And even if he only has to write 5, 6, 7 of these $1 million checks before any government agency comes in and tells him to stop it, he still gets what he needs out of it. He still gets the people motivated, and he still gets the signatures on that petition that he wants.
Well, right. And look, Musk has already given $75 million to this PAC. So clear, I mean, he's already funding it with a whole lot of money. But look, he's got a lot on the line in this election personally. Donald Trump has suggested that Musk might be involved in some new office that would streamline government regulation. But at the same time, Musk is accused of breaking a lot of different rules across government agencies. He says he's the victim of lawfare, but right now he's got simultaneous fights with a whole bunch of an alphabet soup of agencies: the FAA, the FCC, the SEC, the FTC, the EPA, and that's just the federal ones, let alone what's going on in California.
Talking to Rory O'Neill, national correspondent with NBC Radio. Can you give us the states again that people listening to can join us if they want to try to win $1 million?
Right. So the site that runs this explicitly says this program is open only to registered voters in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Nevada, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, and North Carolina, all battleground states in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, and I think that restriction is going to be a legal problem for him when he goes forward, because he's artificially restricting the population. And when he goes forward, based on my understanding of election law, and restricts it to only registered voters, now he's crossed over the threshold of actually some election law violations. But we'll see what the court says.
And what's the website?
It's his America PAC. I don't know. I don't have the exact.
PAC. Great. Yeah. We'll look that up.
Or just Google Elon Musk give me $1 million. It'll probably pop up. yeah, probably going to work that way.
So legally, if the argument is the win the dinner, it's the people donated for a chance to win. Could you have restricted this to donate $1, win $1 million, and this would have been legal?
Well, perhaps, but then you wouldn't have had to. You'd have to get rid of that restriction about registered voters being the only class that participate. Then there's that whole no purchase necessary thing. I don't know. Sometimes that
right.
Right. Yeah, because the idea when you get into a lottery you have to have legally prize, chance, and consideration, and that means you have to be offering a prize. You have to have a chance to win, and consideration is the payment or what you need to do in order to enter the drawing. If you can just sign up, that's not consideration. Where you have to be a registered voter, that becomes consideration, and that's where he gets into an illegal lottery. In this one, legally.
Interesting. Well, Rory O'Neill, really appreciate it. Thanks for the update.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good day.
Rory O'Neill, national correspondent with NBC Radio, joining us. I mean, we're getting a lot of good text messages on this. Like, if we're really concerned about money in politics, let's start with Jared Polis buying his own elections.
Oh, yeah. But again, you can self-fund. And that was the weird thing. Donald Trump was a self-funder in 2016, but he no longer is. But that's the idea of when you're rich enough, you can self-fund.
Yeah.
Versus Jared Polis going out.
Dare you give money to the real people out there?
But again, Jared Polis didn't go out and say, I'm going to give a $10,000 check to a registered voter once per day because of X, Y, or Z. He didn't do that. He did fund his own election, but it's different than what Musk is doing because he's offering a prize in order for you to sign his petition, which is not really allowed by election law. It's not what it says.
I mean, you get to the broader issues. This is where I'd love to hear from people. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. So rich people can buy elections. Democrats can get elected on the promise of using taxpayer dollars to fund you and be given back to you in programs.
And Republicans can do the same thing.
And if you want to actually hand somebody a check, that's illegal.
Yeah. Yes, it is. That is illegal.
Help me understand the nuances and the differences. Would love to hear from you. 303-696-1971. Do you like what Elon Musk is doing? Would you sign up for it? We'll get you the website here in a second. Maybe you have an alternate residency in the state of Pennsylvania or Wisconsin.
Or family that lives somewhere else.
And like I said, cash the check right away.
Yes, right away.
Don't wait for that thing to sit in your drawer. Or text the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5050. 5115. Hey, I want to talk to you about my good friends over at Advanced Hair Restoration. For many of us, it's happening. Your hair is thinning, your crown's disappearing. Maybe hair loss has you feeling your identity is lost altogether. Well, I've got good news for you. It's a simple and incredible one-day treatment that starts growing your own natural hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. It's the Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. We've all seen the pills, lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They help retain what you have. But what if what you want is your own natural hair permanently in specific areas? From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to world-class Dr. Tanya Pauls, it's not maybe will your hair regrow. It's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's why Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 720-459-HAIR. That's 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com. Advancedhair.com. We'll continue with the Jeff and Bill Show.
Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
At this hour, I'm Christina Owayo in Dallas, and here are your top stories.
People are speaking out against Kamala Harris after a pair of Christian students were mocked by the vice president and her supporters at a rally at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse last week when they shouted, "Christ is King and Jesus is Lord." Watch.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
The students, both juniors at the school, said it happened when Harris started talking about abortion rights. The pair was shoved by some of Kamala's supporters as they were being kicked out of the venue. Grant Beth and Luke Pulaski said they were at the rally to do God's work. According to authorities, at least 7 people were killed Saturday when part of a ferry dock collapsed on Georgia's Sapelo Island, where crowds had gathered for a fall celebration. Overall, 20 people were forced into the water. The ages of those who died ranged from 73 to 93. 8 people were taken to hospitals, at least 6 of them with critical injuries, and crews from the U.S. Coast Guard, the McIntosh County Fire Department, the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, and others were searching the water, according to Natural Resources spokesperson Tyler Jones. A gangway at the dock collapsed, sending people plunging into the water, Jones said. A team of engineers and construction specialists were on site early Sunday to start investigating why the walkway failed.
That's what you need to know at this hour. In Dallas, Christina Owayo, Salem News Channel.
Is Elon Musk breaking the law? Or is he just engaging in what everybody else does, involve money in politics? He has announced a $1 million award given daily to those that sign his petition in swing states. This is the Wall Street Journal, ahead of the new $1 million announcement, election law specialists have been divided on whether offering rewards for signing the petitions open only to registered voters overstepped the law by providing an incentive to register. A Musk attorney didn't respond to requests for comment about the matter. It is a federal crime to pay people with the intention of inducing or rewarding them to cast a vote or to get registered, an offense punishable by prison time. The prohibition covers not only monetary expenditures, but also anything of monetary value, such as liquor, lottery chances, or welfare benefits, a Justice Department election crime manual says. The last day to register to vote in Pennsylvania is today, October 21st. Josh Shapiro, Pennsylvania Democrat governor, and he top Harris surrogate, was asked on NBC's Meet the Press if he believed Musk's $1 million a day lottery was legal. The former state attorney general responded that Musk obviously has the right to be able to express his views, but when you start flowing this kind of money into politics, I think it raises serious questions that folks may want to take a look at. This is, we've got a lot of really good text messages on this, right? Like, all right, so candidates can promise to wipe out student debt, for instance, or give $20,000 forgivable block grants to Black entrepreneurs. So Democrats can go out there and promise all those policies if you vote for them. But then Elon Musk gives away actually $1 million of his own money to a voter, and that becomes illegal? Help me square that circle.
Yeah, because he's violating election laws by creating an illegal lottery is what he's doing. And that's what he's doing inside of the idea of promising to start a program or create a program isn't giving individual cash payments to actual voters. It's not saying, if you do X, I'm going to do Y and hand the money to you.
That's exactly what it is.
No, it isn't.
It's just like giving money.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
How is it any different?
Okay, so tell me why. How is the person that is going to vote for Kamala Harris, who says she's going to either forgive the student debts or do the loans, how is that individual going to reap the benefit immediately from that? Where's the transaction taking place in that relationship?
So the time frame is the issue?
In part, but also because it's a government program. That's different.
That makes it worse, in my opinion.
No, not in the least.
It totally makes somebody else's money.
No, the Republicans promise people's money, promise people money all the time and promise things. Same thing. But the issue is that it is an individual payment that is being paid to the voter.
If I have $100,000 of student loan debt and Kamala Harris says, we will forgive that debt if you vote for me, that's not a transactional vote?
If she turns to you and says, I am going to forgive all of Jeff Hunt's debt and I'm going to pay for it if you vote for me, I don't
think that's what the law says.
That's exactly what the law says.
Because it says welfare benefits. The prohibition covers not only monetary expenditures, but also anything of monetary value, such as liquor, lottery chances, and welfare benefits. So because Kamala Harris doesn't use somebody's name, it's okay?
No, it would have to be transactional. The idea that I'm going to give you welfare benefits and I'm going to give this to you right here because you're going to do X for me. It's a transaction based on that time frame. The idea of starting a program isn't necessarily legal. It's not the same thing as breaking election law. I think it's totally
transactional.
No, not at all.
And I would like, what if both were gone? See,
what do you mean
the
both
one
were
thing,
gone? I don't understand.
Well, the idea of, if I look at both of these as transactional, and to Blake's point, I kind of agree with him on this. The idea that a Democrat uses taxpayer dollars to promise a benefit in exchange for votes, whereas Musk is using his own money and providing a benefit for signing a petition. I think what the Democrats are doing is far more egregious. They're using somebody else's money in exchange for votes.
No, I know. That's,
how about we just get rid of both of them?
It's like, I know that's your filter, that the idea is these programs are in exchange for votes. You wouldn't say that promising to increase Defense Department spending is trying to buy soldier votes.
Ooh,
we wouldn't say
military
that.
industrial complex.
No, but
I think it kind of is, though.
But we wouldn't say that's buying the votes. It's a different idea. The idea, it's the individual transaction that is taking place, and that's the idea behind the welfare benefits and the food stamps. What it means inside that law is that I'm handing you a check or welfare stamps in exchange for you doing this for me today. That's where the election law is violated, and that's why Elon Musk is violating election law, because he has created an illegal lottery based on action, and he's artificially restricted it to people that are only registered voters. That's an issue, and it's not okay under election law. You can't do that.
Yeah, it seems to me, though, that we're like, no, the fact that he's engaging in this, even though he's not exchanging it for votes, he's exchanging it to register to vote, is somehow some egregious violation. Meanwhile, you have an entire military industrial complex that, yeah, is probably involved in, I mean,
here's the thing, though.
In trying to secure a candidate that's going to provide the best amount of funding for what they want to do. And yet somehow the great egregious thing we need to investigate is Elon Musk giving away his own personal money.
But you can't exchange money for voter registrations either. You can't pay somebody to register to vote either. That's why Elon Musk is trying to skirt that issue by saying,
but why are we so
offended?
Here's what I'm asking. Why are we so offended about it when Joe Biden gets up and says, if you vote for me, I'm going to wipe out your student debt? Shouldn't that be just as equally offensive?
Here's the thing: it's okay. The way you are categorizing what Joe Biden said is broad and general and inaccurate. But that's fair. But he didn't come out and say, "If you vote for me, I'm going to wipe out all of your student debt." That's not what he said. He didn't make that transactional promise. I'm not sure, but that's not the one he made. I would be willing to guarantee that he didn't say.
Kamala Harris's $20,000 block grant to black dudes.
Okay. Is she doing it based on a list of people that are going to vote for her? Because that's what. No,
yes,
she's not.
It is exactly based on a list of people that are going to vote for her.
No, it's not.
Yes,
no, there isn't a
There's a list of black men that she goes, I'm going to appeal to them by.
But wait, hang on. You said, but hang on.
By voting, by putting out this this plan.
But Elon Musk is asking for a signed list of people to choose from. That's not what Kamala is doing. Nor is it in exchange for votes.
So offensive because he has a list. She does. They're exchanging taxpayer dollars for votes.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, but that's okay. I understand the impression based on what you're doing with the larger idea behind government programs. I get that we all assume and we colloquially talk about that being buying votes. That is different than what is going on legally in the Musk case. Elon Musk is writing a check to a personal list of people that have voter registrations in swing states specifically to have them take an action. That is illegal based on the voter laws. That's just illegal.
So the fact there's a list is the problem.
In part, yes.
But why but here you have politicians like, I'm going to raise this again, using other people's money. And yeah, they may not say exactly, if you vote for me, John Smith, I'm going to wipe out your student loan debt. But they're out there going, essentially trading based upon policy, taxpayer dollars in exchange for votes.
Help me figure this out. If a politician is not allowed to say, I'm going to change these policies when I'm in office, how do they possibly campaign? Because I can make an argument that every time a politician says, I'm going to enact this policy, they're buying votes based on the premise you have created. Any policy I enact is my attempt to buy a vote based on what you have established on your premise. That's not true. That's not how it goes. If we want to say that, that's fine. It's not the same as writing an individual $1 million check to voters that are on a list.
Because one is somebody's own money and the other is taxpayers' dollars. That's my point.
No, because there's a list and it's individually targeted based on action you're going to take.
By what Elon Musk does, I sure as heck hope we'd be just as equally offended by a $20,000 block grant to black entrepreneurs in an effort to win their vote too. And it's not even Kamala's money.
Do we have a list?
Just as much as an effort to shape somebody's vote. And in one case, we get really frustrated about Elon Musk using his own dollars and not about Kamala Harris using taxpayer dollars.
Do we have a list of those black entrepreneurs right now that she's working through? Do we have?
Again, it comes down to a list.
Yes.
We're getting hung up on a list.
In many ways, yes.
I think we should be just as offended by what Kamala Harris did.
No. Not at all, because here's the idea. Because
she didn't have a list, it's not offensive?
Here's the idea. Your premise is any time a politician puts forward a policy that benefits a voter group, they're buying votes. That's your premise. That is how politics
Not any
functions.
policy.
Yes, any policy. Any
But
policy
if
would
you're
qualify.
using dollars, if you come out with a little list
Any
like she
policy,
did,
but any policy would qualify.
$20,000 and says, we're going to give this to you as a black man if you vote for us, that's more offensive to me than Elon Musk writing a $1 million check out of his own pocketbook.
It can be offensive, but one's illegal and one isn't. And that's different. You can be offended all you want by it.
Well,
but
that's
the
part
law
of the
says
point
you're
I'm
wrong.
raising.
I know, but the law says
We're
something
sitting
totally
here,
different.
Josh Shapiro is ready to drop the hammer on Elon Musk's illegal operations. Meanwhile,
And it is illegal.
Meanwhile, Kamala Harris is willing to, I think, reading this, offer welfare benefits in exchange for votes, but simply because she doesn't have a list of people she's willing to give it to, it's somehow legal? Come on. All right. I would love to hear from you. 303-696-1971 or text the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115, 720-819-5115. Look, did you know that last year over 49% of homes listed did not sell with the real estate agent who took the initial listing? This cost home sellers thousands of dollars in lower offers and painful holding costs. Gay Ribble and the Empower Home team of Keller Williams have a track record of selling homes fast and get their home sellers 6.1% more money on average, netting their sellers $30,500 more in their pocket. They do this using their proven proprietary systems and guarantees. Go with the team that doesn't just make empty promises, but can actually provide proof of their experience and track record of getting homes sold for top dollar. Gay Ribble and the Empower Home team is so confident in the services they provide and the results they'll get you that if you're not happy, you can cancel at any time. No cost to you. This is their cancellation promise. Gay Ribble is so delightful. She comes into the studio. She takes calls. She does this about once a month. Helps you understand the real estate market. Guys, you got to sell your home. You know you got family members, friends, neighbors who are real estate agents. They want that business. At the end of the day, you got to go with like the Peyton Manning of real estate sales here in Colorado, and that's Gay Ribble. She is the pro that's going to get you the most money. She's a champion leader. She's delightful to work with. And at the bottom line, she's going to get more money for you. And if it doesn't work out, she'll, it's called the cancellation promise. You can cancel at any time, no cost to you. Call 833-301-SOLD. That's 833-301-SOLD, or go to gayasthebuyers.com. That's GAYE hasthebuyers.com. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
RockyMountainBargains.com, where you'll always pay half price. Why pay retail when you can get what you want at 50% off? Just go to RockyMountainBargains.com and save. Here's this week's featured item.
$100 gift cards from Sean D's Persian Grill in the Denver Tech Center. Get them now for half price.
Get it now at RockyMountainBargains.com for 50% off. RockyMountainBargains.com, where you always pay half price. Restrictions apply. Go to RockyMountainBargains.com for complete details.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. We're talking Elon Musk giving $1 million a debt to somebody in a swing state that signs a petition with America PAC. Now, you have to live in one of the battleground states. You have to sign the petition. And boy, oh boy, has he kicked over the hornet's nest. Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania, ready to investigate. Mark Cuban saying that violates Pennsylvania gaming laws. My point being, maybe we don't like it, but boy, oh boy, are we angry about what Elon Musk is doing. Kamala Harris promising $20,000 block grants to black voters in an effort to win them over and then forgive student debt. So the Democrat politicians are very happy to take taxpayer dollars to earn your vote, but Elon Musk wants to give $1 million of his own money away? Absolutely not. Let's go to the phone line. Spencer, good morning. You're on the Jeff and Bill Show.
Morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. So, Billy, you keep saying that they're using this list.
Yeah.
Are there any requirements that they have to vote for Donald Trump, or can a Democrat register and sign the petition with no intention to vote for Donald Trump or the Republicans and still have a chance to win the $1 million?
The issue is it's creating an illegal lottery. Yes, someone that's a Democrat or Republican can sign it, but it has to do with the lottery as an incentive to sign the petition. That is the part that is illegal.
Okay, so the Democrats have a list.
Yes.
A list of everyone with a student loan, correct?
Yep.
Where's the difference?
How? Because one's public, one's private, correct?
One's public, one's
Yeah. Who you vote for is private, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. However, this petition list is public, right?
Sure. It's
That's
a
your
public
difference.
petition, I imagine,
There's your difference. You have no way to verify that. No, you have no way to verify the private list of how someone voted. You're assuming that if someone has a student debt and they hear the promise, they then are going to be on this list of people that is going to vote for Harris or Biden, whoever it is. That's not correct. The issue is the private and public lists. Your voter list is private.
We're jumping through little hoops here.
No, that's the legal
rule. In
rule.
one case, we're very happy to spend other people's money, but when Elon Musk spends his own dollars, then it's a real problem. We'll continue this conversation. Billy and I are just getting going. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
It is 8 a.m. in the Mile High City. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned into the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710, KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights, hottest takes from the right, left, and center. Congratulations. It's Monday morning, and you're waking up in the greatest country in history. We are off and running, and we have a whole nother hour planned for you with engaging discussions, critical analysis, but most importantly, your calls and texts, because this is where Denver's voice is heard loud and clear. So grab a cup of coffee, Denver, and let's dive into the issues that matter most to you right here, right now. Phone lines are open, 303-696-1971. Or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. After news and comment with Blake Olson, are Christians welcome to Kamala Harris's rallies? Did you hear the two college boys yelling Christ is King, Jesus is Lord at the Kamala Harris rally? And her response was, you're at the wrong rally. Were they just being disruptive? Or does Kamala really not want Christians at her rally? We'll get into this and more. But first, news and comment with Blake Olson. Good morning, Blake.
Good morning, Jeff. She wasn't lying. That's not the place for Jesus. No doubt about it. They're the ones who booed God at their convention a couple years ago.
That's exactly right.
Yep, that's right. She was definitely telling the truth. 47 and cloudy in Denver, expecting a high of 70 today. The 7-10 5-day forecast coming up. Our top story, a shooting at the Auraria campus this morning. A suspect taken into custody after allegedly firing multiple shots and injuring an Auraria campus police officer. It all happened around 1:18 this morning near West Colfax and 7th Street. According to police, two campus officers approached a suspect who allegedly assaulted one of the officers while trying to trespass into a car. Election Day is just over 2 weeks away. DJT in North Carolina today to tour hurricane damage in Asheville and then hold a rally in Greenville. Meanwhile, Kamala Khan will make stops in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania.
So look, if Jimmy Carter can vote early, you can too.
You can too. Kamala Khan is feeling.
Do you think Jimmy Carter actually voted?
No.
Have you seen the images of him?
Yes. Yes. And then his son says, you know, he just wanted to stay alive so he could vote for Kamala Khan. I guess there's a possibility.
I mean, there's
that.
got to be. This is where the left's always like signature verification.
Yes.
All right, verify the signature. I promised you, it does not look like his normal signature. If you look at the videos and the pictures of him, where he's like barely hanging on at this point,
right?
And all of a sudden he's senile enough or there with it enough to be able to fill out a ballot and sign it.
He's horizontal, man. I mean, he can't even lift up his arm. Right. Jeez, man. So, thank God for early voting, I guess. Hey, there's someone who's more tired than Jimmy Carter. I think it's Tim Walz.
Look, I know many people, if you say I'm tired of this, trust me, I am too. We're fatigued. We're fatigued from it.
He's fatigued from it.
You know what we should do? Put that guy as the second in charge of our country.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Buckle up.
He's
Buttercup.
perfect.
Come on.
He is perfect for that job.
I'm really, I've been doing this for 2 months. I'm really tired.
Right.
I don't think
2 months, right?
I don't think I can do this much longer. Yeah. Then you're going to run the country?
Yeah, exactly. DJT is up every morning, probably at 4 a.m, and he's going till midnight every night. He's had like 4 times the interviews that those guys have had. He's all over the place. And this clown, he's in church saying he's tired. He's exhausted. Voters in Michigan tired of the lies about abortion. They say Kamala Khan is out of touch and not talking about the real issues, cost of living.
Focus in on abortion. We have constitutional protected abortion here in Michigan. It's not an issue. I don't have a uterus anymore. My husband never had a uterus, but we have utility bills. We have grocery bills.
Yeah, I like that. Amen to that. DJT worked the drive-thru at McDonald's in Pennsylvania on Sunday, making a point that now he's worked longer at McDonald's than Kamala Khan has. Remember, she said she worked there. She just never said where the McDonald's was located.
I could do this all day. I wouldn't mind this job. I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again. Thank you. Look at that. Look at that. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Nice to see you.
You made it possible for ordinary people like us to meet.
You're not ordinary.
I mean, thank you so much.
You are not ordinary. I can see.
We pray for you, and you are the type of person we want to be the president. Thank you so much.
So nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, I took a bullet. That's right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
When you think about it, I guess that's right.
That was awesome. If you could check out the video if you haven't seen it, those are great. Bernie's back. The party that trashed him is still in his heart. He loves the left and Democrats, and he hates Trump.
Really? We have major issues facing this country. Is this the kind of human being that we want as president of the United States? And there is a reason why Trump's own vice president, Mike Pence, terribly conservative, says he's not voting for Donald Trump. There's a reason why Mitt Romney, the 2012 Republican candidate, not voting for Donald Trump.
Right, because they care about themselves more than the country. Continue.
So I think what Kamala is trying to do now.
Whoa, Carmela. Carmela, you racist. Did he just call her Carmela? He called her Carmela. I'm calling her Carmela from now on. That's it. Carmela.
Now is making clear that above and beyond issues, and obviously Liz Cheney and I disagree on everything on the issues, there are reasons to vote against Trump.
Liz Cheney, another one who cares about herself more than the country. Carmela, I love it. It's Carmela. We're going to go Kamala Khan and Carmela for Bernie, you racist. An 18-year-old is dead after a shootout with police in Aurora early Sunday. Officers called to an apartment complex in the 1900 block of South Vaughan Way late Saturday night after a man allegedly assaulted a woman and threatened others with a firearm. Police helped arrange the safe exit of the woman while the suspect remained in the apartment. Investigators say the suspect came to the door of the unit around 1 a.m, began firing at officers, leading to an officer to shoot and kill the teen. The officer was placed on administrative leave. All right, a retired Marine accused of choking to death a homeless man who was black on a Manhattan subway train is due in a New York courtroom today. Daniel Penny, he pleaded not guilty to manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide in the death of Jordan Neely last May. Witnesses say that Neely was threatening and harassing people. 44 in Parker, 45 in North Glen, 47 in Denver. Jeff and Bill continue on this Kamala Khan Monday. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Cloudy to start your day. There will be some rain showers and a few isolated thunderstorms along the Front Range and mountain areas early in the day, then becoming partly cloudy. Highs will be 65 to 70, clear tonight, low to mid-40s. Mild, dry, low to mid-70s Tuesday, low 70s Wednesday. Cooling off a little bit, breezy and partly cloudy Thursday and Friday. Weather sponsored by branchplanning.com. Secure your future retirement with a reliable income stream. Annuities can provide guaranteed payments, giving you peace of mind. Get your complimentary review at branchplanning.com or call 303-219-0088. Meteorologist Dante in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Weekend, Kamala Harris was hosting a rally, and two young pro-life activists from the University of Wisconsin attended. And this started with this first video, and it was a little hard to hear, but this was the video that initially broke it.
So a few weeks ago, I attended the Trump rally here in my town. Before I dive into what I'm about to share, here's a peek at that. Well, today I found out that Kamala Harris was coming to my town, so I decided to go. I wanted to see the differences. Notably, I had to show my ID to get in to see her. But anyway, I was making a video talking actually about how sad I was that the loudest cheering at the rather small event came in support of abortion. When I panned over to the crowd and to her speaking, and I caught something I wasn't expecting. Check it out. Not a lot of energy here, but everyone just cheered and screamed for killing babies. So that was disappointing. Anyway, here she is. Did you hear that? Some guy in the crowd shouted, "Jesus is Lord." And Kamala said, "I think you're at the wrong rally." And then she said, "Try the smaller one down the street." Everyone laughed and cheered, but I was at that rally. There were almost 7,000 people at it. Today they said there were 2,500. Nobody waiting. Open spaces. I wanted everyone who's a believer to hear that for themselves.
Again, we're not going to be gaslighted on this. We remember Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
All right, so that's a few different angles. Here's a second angle on that. So 2 young guys yell, "Christ is King, Jesus is Lord," and Kamala says, "You're at the wrong rally." Fox had the 2 young men on Saturday on their show.
There's a lot that happened off camera that we said at the protest while we were protesting. And I guess we could start off with after she talked about overturning Roe v. Wade and Donald Trump, I yelled out to the crowd that abortion is the sacrament of Satan. And when I said that, I deeply do believe that as a Christian. And about 10 seconds go by, and that's when the video of my friend Grant and I proclaiming that Christ is Lord and Jesus is King, when we said that. And I think it's important to say this is a small venue, and we were about 20 to 30 yards away from Kamala at this point. There's a lot of controversy that says she wasn't talking to us or we left, we didn't get kicked out. Well, I can speak on Grant and I's behalf. On video, Grant's getting pushed and shoved. And there's about 5 seconds after or before she tells us to go to the smaller rally down the street. You can see on the video she waves. She was actually waving to me. I took this cross off my neck that I wear. And as we were getting asked to leave, I held it up in the air and waved at her and pointed to her, and she looked directly in the eye, kind of gave me an evil smirk. And I just want to clear that up and confirm that she 100% was talking to us.
So are these guys being disruptive, inappropriate, disrespectful? And yes, they should be the rally down the street. Or did Kamala Harris respond improperly? Here's J.D. Vance dealing with a lady yelling Christ is King at his rally.
Anti-Christian rhetoric and anti-Christian approach to public policy. I don't think that we've, that's right, Jesus is King. And I don't think that we've seen, I don't think that we've seen anything like this in modern American politics.
All right. So what do you think? I'd love to hear from you. 303-696-1971. Is Kamala Harris hostile to Christians? Are they not allowed at the rally? Should they go to the rally down the street? Or were these guys being disruptive, inappropriate, disrespectful? and they should be asked to leave. Would love to hear from you. 303-696-1971 or text the show on the Dan Capitalist Law text line 720-819-5115. There's a number of policy issues that Kamala Harris is raising that makes me think she's hostile to Christians. What do you think, Bill?
What? Really?
Yeah.
The
person
is
the
person that is a practicing Christian, the person that went to church services yesterday is hostile to her own religion.
Yeah.
Really? What?
Two acts, the Equality Act and the Do No Harm Act.
This is so weird. It's so bizarre. This is what I'm hearing. I am hearing a real-time rationalization happening in this country from people that share my faith because they have to justify in their heads why they are voting for the person that is obviously less religious, less of a believer than their own religion. They are looking for, they're trying to rationalize in their head why they can support a man that goes against most of the teachings inside the book that we hold sacred. And they need to justify support for him. So in order to do that, they need to denigrate and doubt Kamala's faith, of which we have no reason to do so. We have any reason to doubt her faith. We have
two
no
major
reason
pieces
to.
of legislation that she helped push forward that would have very serious religious freedom threats on people like Jack Phillips, Christian colleges, ministries, the Do No Harm Act and the Equality Act.
How would it do what? And it would do what to imperil Jack's ability to do business?
Yeah, they would essentially set up nationally what Jack had to deal with the Colorado Civil Rights Commission, which is we are going to prioritize LGBTQ rights over religious freedom rights. And if you believe in traditional marriage, if you believe in traditional Christian orthodoxy, you're going to lose out on government grants. You could be prosecuted for violating other people's civil rights. And the Do No Harm Act would essentially get rid of RFRA, the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. So you have two major pieces of legislation that would directly threaten the religious freedom rights of Orthodox Christians that she ran when she was a senator or supported. The Do No Harm Act, she was the lead sponsor on. You had those two pieces of legislation, and then you have two young guys showing up going, Christ is King, Jesus is Lord, and she's saying, that's the wrong rally. Go to the one down the street.
Yeah. Here's the thing is, they did disrupt the rally. That was their intent, was to protest and to disrupt the rally. They were there to disrupt. We don't know whether or not Kamala heard what they said or they yelled or not. My guess is she probably heard very little of what they yelled from the stage. They probably heard it. Normally in those situations, it's difficult to hear what the crowd is yelling, especially when you're speaking in that situation. She may or may not have heard it. And so I'm not going to draw a conclusion one way or another. But what I'm not going to do also is draw the conclusion that she obviously dislikes Christians when she was at a Georgia church yesterday doing a rally and went to service, something Donald Trump didn't do.
Do you think she would protect the religious freedom rights of Orthodox, and I'm thinking doing small o, not Orthodox with the hats, Orthodox Christians who believe in traditional marriage? Do you think with her leading on the No Harm Act and the Equality Act that she would actually protect the religious freedom rights? Because she tried to take them away.
Now, see, and this is the issue, is I disagree with the idea of her taking them away because I have a different interpretation of those laws. The laws say that what you can't do is you can't use your religion as your basis for discrimination. And what Jack Phillips, and again, the Civil Rights Commission here went after Jack Phillips in the wrong manner, and the courts did correct that. But what the courts came back, and what the Civil Rights Commission does now, is they allow Jack to do things like, he is still in business. He can't say, if he said, no, I'm not going to serve any gay people inside this business, that's an issue. That's a civil rights issue, but he didn't do that. He said, I'm not going to make these kind of cakes. And I do believe that the most recent, and I am supportive of him, and I do believe the most recent legal case against him by Autumn Scardina was completely and totally bogus, and it was trying to do that.
Be forced to hire a gay person?
Depends on what do you mean? Yeah, I mean, what do you mean by forced?
Forced by law.
So the church has to have a gay person on staff?
No. But they cannot discriminate against somebody. They cannot say, because of your sexual activity or sexual identity, we're not going to hire you as a pastor.
But now here's the thing for me, though, is I was, now maybe I have missed something in the catechism, but I thought that we were allowing gay people into the fold.
You're allowed to.
I thought that homosexual people were allowed.
Are you
in the
allowed
fold.
to lead a church? Should a church be forced to hire a pastor to lead the church if they disagree with their sexuality?
Here's the thing: is the idea of being forced. Show me where the mechanism will force them to place that person into power.
If a church,
show me where that happens.
Does not hire somebody because of their sexual activity.
So just because, no,
let's say you have the exact same education. You both went to seminary. You're equally qualified. One person is in a homosexual relationship. The other person is in a heterosexual relationship. Can the church decline to hire the person in a homosexual relationship based upon their religious teachings and values?
It would depend. It would depend in some ways based on the church, because one of the things that
would it depend on the church?
Here's the reason why. Because again, I understand that you're part of a cult. You're Protestant. I'm the OG.
Right.
I'm the one with the funny hats and the dude in the Vatican. So again, I say that because I love you. I mean, I don't say that to people that I dislike. I say it only to my friends.
And then I go, you're the one in the faith with the one guy who can tell everybody else what to think.
Oh, I know. Exactly that. Here's the thing. In my faith, in my church, the priests have to be celibate. So a person that is homosexual, that is involved in a homosexual relationship, would not be allowed to be a priest. A heterosexual.
Should they be allowed to do that?
A heterosexual person that is involved in a relationship would not be allowed to be a priest. So yes, they should be allowed to make that choice. Can they say that no gay people can work for our church and we can't have any gay people at any point inside the lay community? No, that doesn't seem to be correct necessarily if you're talking about employment. That if the employment is simply that you're disagreeing simply based on their religion, their race, their sexual orientation. No, that is incorrect.
Sexual orientation is not written into federal law yet.
Yeah.
Which is what the Equality Act would have done.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and even then, I don't have a problem with that, because for me, it's the argument of nature versus nurture, and we're not going to do that one today. And so that's the issue. That's why I would put sexual orientation inside of that.
The Do No Harm Act would gut the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which is the law that says, you cannot treat religious groups differently based upon their religion when it comes to grants, when it comes to any type of government law. It becomes a shield that a religious group can take to court and say, this law that the government has put into practice directly affects our religious freedom, and becomes a way in which they can argue in court that the government law itself has to be the least invasive into affecting a religious organizations. Now, Kamala Harris sought to gut that. She sought to pass the Equality Act. She has been a threat to the religious freedom rights of Christians in this country. She was the one that led on this law. And now she has two guys in her rally, which I think you can make a fair argument they're being disruptive. But was she saying the rallies down the street is because you're being disruptive, or you need to attend the rally down the street because you're a Bible-believing Christian and this isn't the rally for you, and are Democrats hostile to Christians? Love to hear from you, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Billy, we got a call? All right, let's go to Marty. Marty, you're on the Jeff and Bill Show. Good morning.
Gentlemen, excellent. What a rich topic. I was driving around on Saturday. I was thinking about Peter. I was going to call Peter, but I was simultaneously thinking, what a scumbag, degenerate adult you'd have to have young people in your life, a child, a grandson, a niece, or a nephew. You have those people in your life, and then simultaneously be throwing your support for Kamala Harris. Is that not a pretty fair thought to say, you really are picking self over society as an adult, voting for Kamala Harris? And to segue into your conversation, what on earth does a homosexual Democrat want to do with the church anyways, other than destroy it? I don't want to hear that you can be a Democrat and a Christian in the same conversation. I don't want to hear that you can be serving in a capacity of pastor and be a flaming, raging homosexual. Those things don't merge. I mean, do you see what the situation that comes up in 2 weeks, gentlemen? That this is on the line, that the church becomes, we become Babylon, 2.0 full in effect? Is this sane thinking or irrational thinking that you can't be a Democrat and a Christian in the same conversation?
Marty,
fair or not fair?
Marty, your thinking is completely and totally irrational. Explain to me why you can't be a Christian and be a Democrat. How do you get to that?
I would go number one. Number one, Matthew 18:6, the corruption of little ones, the corruption of our youth.
Corruption in what way? The corruption in what way, Marty? What corruption?
Well, we sexualize children. We shove perversion down their throat while we take away God. We separate parent from child. I mean, Democrat agenda is give me your kid.
Marty, excuse me, Marty. Yes. Which organizations in the last 10 years have been paying more money for child abuse allegations? Are they churches or are they drag queens and other homosexual groups?
It's actually
exactly your point.
No, but what? No. Of the two, which one is paying more? Is it the churches or is it the other organizations involving the homosexuals that you say are doing the bad things to the kids? Which group has had to pay because they did the bad things to the kids?
The pedophilia-ridden Catholic Church that allowed the exact kind of stuff.
Protestants have faced it as well. So it is the church.
Hold on. Public schools paid the most.
Hang on a sec, though. The issue, I don't care because I don't care about the public school because, and this is why you're bringing it as a tangential issue, Jeff, because Marty justified his feeling on Democrats based on Christianity. So I'm dealing with Christianity and who is doing the bad things to the kids. We weren't talking about public schools at this point. This was an instance of homosexual groups versus the groups that share our same faith. It is the faith-based groups that are paying the money. They're the ones doing the bad things to the kids, Marty, but you ignore that, and instead you hang the jacket on all the homosexuals as if they're doing it, which isn't borne out by the truth. So again, you're being irrational,
Jeff is right.
But continue.
Jeff is right because he talked about the schools. Billy, pop quiz. What political party has more influence on United States public schools, Democrats or Republicans? Easy answer.
Marty, I don't care about the public schools because we're still talking about Democrats and you're saying they can't be Christian and they're doing bad things to the kids. You still haven't justified that. Let's stick with the topic, please.
Okay, let's stay right there then.
Help me there. So you don't think that Joe Biden is an actual Christian? Not at all?
No.
Okay.
I'm looking for fruit, Billy. I'm looking for fruit. I'm looking for action. You tell me then, as a casual independent, which you claim to be, and I'd like to get you on the record. We're 2 weeks out, Billy. I want to get you on the record with your Kamala Harris votes. I think the listeners deserve you to say emphatically that although she is maybe the most worthless candidate we've ever seen, even with that black skin and that woman DNA, you're going to still pledge your vote. But the simple question is this: where's the fruit of the Democrat Party supporting helping children? And your homosexual-ridden Catholic Church, Billy, that allowed homosexuals into the church, that's what Jeff was saying. That's why they can't come in the first place. You can't have sex with children and say you love Jesus.
But hang on a second. Whoa. Marty. You understand there's a difference between being a homosexual and being a pedophile, right? Or are they the same in your book?
They're way too close.
Oh, no. Are they the same in your book or are they different?
They're not straight. They're both classified as not straight, not biblical methods of conduct. So I don't know. They're both filthy to me, but
are they the same? Because it sounds to me like you were telling me that the homosexuals are the pedophiles. Is that the equation you're making, Marty? Because that's where you started with the Democrats. That's what you were saying. You were implying the Democrats, because their political views can't possibly be Christian, even though that's been borne out that they've been Christian over almost the entire founding of the country. But still, ignore that. So, are the homosexuals pedophiles? Really? Are they the same?
No, not every homosexual, filthy, flaming homosexual wants to have sex with children. That I'll give you. But
No, Marty, you won't give me that. The homosexuals don't want to have sex with kids. That's not the defining characteristic of being a homosexual. A defining characteristic of being a homosexual is a same-sex attraction, not an attraction to kids. That's pedophilia. Well, that's different. And in fact, we could go into it. Technically, we use pedophilia as a large group, but pedophilia has to do with the young kids. There's a different for preteen, and there's a different thing for teens.
Oh my God.
There's a different rule. I want you to still show me that. It's just based on definitions. It's not filthy. It's just based on, definitions, understanding how that group breaks down, because it can be subdivided. But we know what they aren't? Homosexuals. Because the vast majority, the overwhelming majority, more than 80% of the people that are in prison for child porn and for pedophilia are straight.
That's not straight, bud. That's
No,
not
it's-
straight. Straight is a man and a woman of
they have
consenting
they,
age. That ain't
no, no,
straight up, bud.
No, straight heterosexual is attracted to someone of the opposite sex. That's what the pedophiles are. That's what the studies show. That's what everything says. So this is the issue, Marty, is you're using your fear of homosexuality to denigrate
Not a
them
fear, it's
based on
disgust.
it is okay. You're using your personal disgust and you're giving them characteristics that are not true. And you're doing that to push your prejudice, your hatred, and your stereotypical behavior. That's what you're doing. All you're doing here
Billy,
on the
this
Jeff and Bill show at 8:30 in the morning on a Monday is exposing your hypocrisy and your prejudice
hypocrisy
to
at all.
everybody. Yes,
No,
it
it's not at
is.
all.
Yes, it is.
It's
Because
a behavior.
no, it's not. It's complete and total hypocrisy because you're not evaluating someone based on Christian behavior. What you're doing is you're doing it based on politics and whether or not you agree with them.
No.
And we can see it in the most because you don't understand how the church deals and opens up their doors to homosexuals that aren't practicing at this point. That's the rule inside of my faith, is that we welcome them into the community. We love the sinner, but we hate the sin. You are willing to paint all of them as pedophiles, which is illogical, irrational, and wrong.
I'm willing to paint them all as sexual deviants, and no, they shouldn't be in the church.
Tell me deviant. What do you mean by deviant? What do you mean by deviant? Define that for me.
That's a deviant lifestyle.
No,
having
define that for
rampant
me.
sex with other men.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. You use the word rampant. There are people in homosexual relationships that have been monogamous for years. And there are people, that are heterosexuals. There are people that are heterosexuals, and I would show you lower downtown that rampantly have wild sex with anybody else they can, and they're heterosexual. So I disagree with that.
And they're just as deviant.
So
That's just as deviant. Let me say,
hang on a second.
deviancy is out.
So the deviancy is the number of partners. The deviancy is not based on who you're having it
No,
with.
I think you could say that the Bible's very clear that sexual activity takes place inside one context and one context that's
Which is
only
correct.
Marriage between one man and one woman in a lifelong covenant.
Which would mean, oh God, that's right. So far we have proof of one candidate breaking those rules, and that would be Trump, who had sex outside of his marriage over and over again.
Gosh.
The person that would be deviant would be Trump.
I don't think Christians are saying that the way Trump has lived his personal life is something to celebrate.
No, but what I'm saying is, but what I'm using here is Marty's definition of deviance. And I find it odd that what he started out with was denigrating Democrats, but the person based on deviancy is the person he's supporting in the election. The person that he was all worried about deviancy, and now he's supporting Trump in the election, who, based on our conversation here, would be the deviant. Someone that is having sex outside of his relationship.
Kamala Harris and all her wild sexual affairs with Willie Brown and Montel Williams and Hollywood
Was she
and
married?
all the people that she slapped on top.
No,
I don't care. It's sexual deviancy
Marty,
outside of a marriage between man and woman.
Marty,
Period.
again, Marty, you have two relationships there. You have Willie Brown and you have Montel Williams. Two.
Yeah.
Yet we know that Donald Trump stepped out on every wife he had. Every single one of them. And that doesn't matter
Donald Trump
to you.
has to be perfect. So, okay, Billy, how about this?
No, I'm just holding,
laid out
Marty, I'm just holding him to the same standard. Kamala, whether or not you agree with the relationship she had, she wasn't married at the time, but yet you're giving Donald Trump a pass, even though he stepped out on his wives.
I want to bring this back to the original question. And Bill, you bring a good point, which is, I think evangelical Christians should hold Donald Trump accountable on his personal life. Absolutely.
But absolutely vote for him.
You're not electing a pastor.
But hold on.
But it's an issue with Mark.
But there's
Kamala,
one
right?
party that's willing to take in evangelicals, even in light of a disagreement. Look, Donald Trump disagrees with evangelicals on gay marriage, and he probably disagrees with them on the call to live celibacy outside of marriage to your wife. All right. We have that disagreement, right? I think you can see that. But going back to Kamala Harris, right? She's going to disagree with evangelicals on that and tell them they need to go to the rally down the street.
Yes. Come on, Billy. Come on. We want you to go on. Let's get you on the record. Let's do it right now. Just set aside their sexual preferences. Set aside maybe their mistakes in the past. Money on the line. You've got young people in your life. Are you willing to subject them to Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, the deviancy of the Democrat Party? Will you go on the record and say, yes, as much as I dislike Donald Trump, this woman isn't fit to run McDonald's? Will you do that for us as a listener? Will you publicly say, I got too many young people in my life counting on me. I can't give my vote to this monster? Will you do it for us?
Here's the thing that I'm not going to do, Marty, is I'm not going to allow you to make a speech for me and then tell me what I have to say and respond to that question. That's not how this is played, man. No. What you're doing is you're asking me to agree to a speech you just made. And that's not cool. Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's exactly
Go on the
man.
record
no.
and
no,
say, just say you want to vote for Kamala.
No. Here's the thing is, Marty, you don't get to bully me, nor do you get to push me in this
I'm
direction.
not bullying you.
Yes, you are. No. You're pushing me and saying, come on, get on the record, get on the record. And you had a whole long list of stuff that you front-loaded that statement with. You were saying, Billy, you're going to agree with me, and I'm going to front-load this entire statement. And because of that, I'm going to force you to agree with the statement that I made.
No.
And that's crap. That is complete and total crap. It is just as intellectually dishonest as when you started this talking about Democrats not being Christian. It is just as illogical, just as irrational. And
will you go on the record?
This has been a ton of fun, Marty. I hope you have a great day and call us back later. But
that was a good one.
That was fun.
You guys are always fun to get.
Oh, it's always fun.
Thank you, Marty, for the call. Look, you don't have to keep living with that joint pain. Real lasting relief is possible with the help from QC Kinetics. People here are getting their lives back, getting their mobility back, thanks to QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in cellular therapies that can revitalize your joints. I'm talking about advanced regenerative medicine, using your own body's healing properties, highly concentrated and carefully placed in your achy joints, back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain. These are cutting-edge treatments that require no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. It's a quick in-office procedure that can get you moving again. These protocols have been developed by medical professionals and under the leadership of Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a former orthopedic surgeon and a pioneer in clinical regenerative medicine. Listen, is arthritic joint pain keeping you from doing the things you love? Pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulder? You owe it to yourself to learn more. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. Joel in our office here, I ran into him the other day. He's been a client over at QC Kinetics, and he's playing more golf than he ever has in his entire life. So why not check him out? 303-900-8986, 303-900-8986, with locations in Aurora, Superior, Highlands Ranch, and Colorado Springs. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
At this hour, I'm Christina Ohio in Dallas, and here are your top stories.
The Associated Press is being called out for publishing blatantly biased news headlines when it comes to the age and mental acuity of Donald Trump and Joe Biden. 4 days ago, the AP ran a story with the headline reading, "If he wins next month's election, Donald Trump would be the oldest person in U.S. history to be elected president." Yet the 78-year-old Republican nominee refuses to disclose new details about his physical or mental well-being. Meanwhile, the same publication back in July, 4 months after Biden won enough delegates to clinch the 2024 Democrat nomination, wrote this headline: "Biden at 81, sharp and focused, but sometimes confused and forgetful." Many are now saying the people are waking up and turning away from both the Democrat Party and the legacy media. In fact, a recent poll by Gallup revealed that trust in the media is at record lows. Some 200,000 letter carriers have reached a tentative contract deal with the U.S. Postal Service that includes backdated pay raises and a promise to provide workers with air-conditioned trucks. The new agreement still needs to be ratified by union members. It runs through November 2026. Letter carriers have been working without a new contract since their old one expired back in May of 2023. Since then, they have continued working under the same terms of the old contract. Both the union and the Postal Service welcome the agreement. Among other things, the contract increases top pay and reduces the amount of time it takes new workers to reach that level.
In Dallas, Christina Ohio, Salem News Channel.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. So, over the weekend, 2 pro-life college students go to a Kamala Harris rally at their school. And during the rally, when Kamala Harris is talking about abortion, one of the students says abortion is the sacrament of Satan. And then he says, Christ is King, Jesus is Lord. And here's Kamala Harris's response.
Christ is King, Jesus is Lord.
That one's a little harder to hear. You can hear the students better in that one, but she says that there's a rally down the street you should go to, essentially saying you need to go to Donald Trump's rally. Now, here's J.D. Vance dealing with someone yelling Christ is King in his rally.
Anti-Christian rhetoric and anti-Christian approach to public policy. I don't think we've, that's right, Jesus is King. And I don't think that we've seen, I don't think that we've seen anything like this in modern American politics.
Do you think Kamala Harris can say Jesus is King?
Yeah, I think she's. Okay, here's the idea. Inside of her stump speeches, who's the one that quotes scripture the most? Her. Who's the one that refers back to religion and God the most? Her. Who's
you
the one
think
that,
so? I've heard a lot of speeches where Trump is fine referencing God.
Yeah, but who's quoting the scriptures and it's her. She's the one that is dropping the scriptures. She's the one that knows the context.
Normal.
She's the one that's not talking about
maybe
2
the
Corinthians.
Baptist church, but
she's not talking about 2 Corinthians. She's not the one.
You think at this rally about abortion, she's talking about scripture?
No, I'm just talking about who makes the references, who's the actual believer. That's the issue. And this is why we go back to how we started the hour, where this is a rationalization. This, to me, are conservative Christians trying to rationalize why they are supporting the person that obviously holds their religion in less esteem than the other person they don't want to vote for. And it's okay to do that. It is okay to say, you know what? Kamala is more Christian and goes to services more than this person, Donald Trump. But you know what? Because of Donald Trump's policies, I'm going to vote for him. That's okay. What's not okay, though, is this weird rationalization by saying Kamala's obviously not the right type of Christian, so I need to vote for this dude who doesn't have any of the trappings of what I would consider to be a Christian leader.
Yeah, but
that's
I think it's right for Christians to be concerned about what Kamala Harris's administration is going to look like based upon the bills that she put forward in the Senate, but also what we had to deal with under Obama administration. Let's go back to like Hobby Lobby.
Here's the thing.
All of these Supreme Court cases, we had to fight at the U.S. Supreme Court in order to protect our religious freedom. So I'm not pulling Kamala Harris's quote by itself. I'm looking as well as the policy agenda she's going to implement and ask the question, should Christians go down the street, like Kamala said, to another rally because she's going to be hostile towards
and here's the thing. See, I disagree with the idea of her being hostile. And see, I agreed with you all the way up until the use of that word at the end, hostile. Because what I hear from you is exactly what I'm saying. And this is why you and I get along so well, even though we disagree on this. This is why this show works, is because you and I absolutely agree that Christians should be allowed to and absolutely should, based on their faith, make a choice between the two. But what I disagree with is this rationalization by making up what is an excuse that Kamala somehow isn't Christian enough, despite the person that you're supporting. If the issue is who's Christian enough, the winner's clear. But so don't play the game. Just be honest enough to say, I think that her policies are probably not going to support as much of the Christian beliefs that I want. So I'm going to choose this guy. But stop saying she hates Christians. Stop doing that. Be honest about it and say, I'm going to choose this based on what my desires are and policies. That's okay. That's perfectly acceptable. What isn't acceptable in my mind is throwing these rocks at her as if she's not a Christian versus the dude that hasn't been in a church in 6 months. That's where I draw the line.
I'm perfectly willing to say I want Donald Trump to find Jesus Christ and attend church regularly. I think attending church regularly is critical to your formation, because it takes that time to worship. to honor God, to be taught by God, to be in community, and to serve. And I think if you're not attending church regularly, you need to. It's good. It's good for your soul. So I'm very happy, Billy, to say, I want Donald Trump attending church regularly on Sundays. I think it would be better for him to do that.
That's perfectly fair. And here's one of the things, again, you and I with kids and bringing the kids to church. One of the things that they all, push back a little bit at some time or another. I don't want to go. I don't want to. Sometimes, and I had this life lesson. Sometimes we do things that we don't want to do. And we do things for the greater good that we may not want to. And we do things for the community that are difficult on us and take up time that we don't necessarily want. It is much easier for us to be selfish. However, during this time that you are giving up, during this time that you are giving to God, find some joy, find some reason, rather than pouting and sitting here and going, I don't want to do this the entire time, because you're going to have to go through this your entire life. Find ways to make this better. Find ways that can connect with you. And maybe, instead of sitting in your brain and saying how much you hate the church, listen to what they're saying, because there may be a message there that you need today. Maybe.
Amen.
Yeah.
Would love to hear from our callers. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Can Kamala Harris say Christ is king? She didn't at a rally. J.D. Vance did, but Kamala attends church. She talks about scripture. Does that matter? Give me a call, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. We're talking Christians at Kamala Harris's rally being asked to leave and go down to the rally next door. Is that because they're just being disruptive? Or does she not like Christians at a rally? They need to go down to the rally next door. Let's go to the phone lines. Joe, you're on the Jeff and Bill Show. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Hey, just that last little segment there reminded me of this thought I've had on occasion where, I'm not a terribly religious person. I've called in, chatted before, but I grew up Catholic church. I was an altar boy, but pretty much after high school, I was done with, church. Although I do agree, Jeff, sorry to drag this out, but going to church in hindsight was a great part of my life. As much as I hated getting dragged out of bed on a Sunday morning, it was nothing but positive in retrospect. So I absolutely agree with you on that. But one of the things that sort of turns me away from the church is evangelicalism and the literal interpretation of the Bible. And when I think of it that way, and I look at a guy like Donald Trump and how he's gotten control over the Christian masses who have put so much of their, faith into him, as someone who, like Billy said, is not a religious guy, never was. And, you could probably, save one or two commandments that he hasn't broken. But yet, they have sold in based on a promise, let's say Roe v. Wade, and they put so much faith into that, they got it overturned, but now we have unintended consequences where it's ending up in the constitution of a lot of states.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see them putting their salvation hope in him, but they're definitely, hoping that he'll be politically successful for them. We'll continue the conversation. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Cloudy to start your day. There will be
It is 9 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Monday, October 21st. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned into the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights, hottest takes from the right, left, and center. Congratulations. It's Monday morning. You have a job. You're off to work in the greatest country in history. We're gearing up for a whole nother hour of engaging discussions, critical analysis, most importantly, your calls and texts, because this is where Denver's voice is heard loud and clear. So grab a cup of coffee, Denver, and dive into the issues that matter most to you right here, right now. Bill, I know when I read something that gives me the heebie-jeebies, we got to talk about it.
Uh-oh.
And this article.
I'm so curious now. What is it? What gave you the creeps?
Dude,
what put those little
this article makes me go, I don't want to live when this technology develops. I'm out of here.
Okay, now
I'm on my way to heaven. I'm enjoying the kingdom.
Yeah.
Will Kamala Harris be there? I don't know. Will Donald Trump be there? I don't know. I don't judge people's salvations. I'm just hoping I'm there.
Yeah.
But when we get to heaven, I know for a fact I won't have a chip in my brain.
Oh, I thought they were already doing that, to track us. I thought that's what the New World Order was doing. They're going to be tracking us that way.
Dude, this opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend. Are you ready for a brain chip?
Is that why you came in with a aluminum foil hat today? I'm going to have to fashion my own.
Oh
my
man.
goodness.
Dude, when he starts to lay out what this is going to do.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to go, nope. Yeah. Maybe. I'd love to hear from the person that's like, I can't wait for this technology. Wait till I read this. But I read it and was like, I'm out of here. All right.
Nope. No, thank you.
Let's check in first on news and comment with Blake Olson. Good morning, Blake. You ready for the brain chip?
No, I'm frightened as well. I don't know if I even want to listen to you talk about it. I know, I know where it's headed. That is frightening. 50 and cloudy in Denver, expecting a high of 70 today. The 7-10 5-day forecast coming up. Our top story, a suspect taken into custody after allegedly firing multiple shots and injuring an Auraria campus police officer early this morning. According to police, just after 1 o'clock near West Colfax Avenue and 7th Street, 2 campus officers approached the suspect who allegedly assaulted one of the officers while trying to trespass into a car. Election day is just over 2 weeks away. DJT in North Carolina today to tour hurricane damage in Asheville and then hold a rally in Greenville.
If you're on his campaign, and I know you are certainly not, I'm not making any implication of that, but what is the logic behind this? Going to a McDonald's? I mean, we know the guy likes Big Macs and filet of fish, and he's used the word love to describe the way he feels about the food.
Oh, messy NBC. They couldn't wrap their heads around the former president working the drive-thru at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania on Sunday. Sound bites and photo ops. Great stuff.
A lot of fun here, everybody.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Look at all the fake news over there. Hello, everybody.
You can take this,
And
right?
you know this is compliments of Trump, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes.
please don't let the United States become Brazil, my native Brazil.
We'll keep it
Please,
good.
Please, please.
We're going to make it better than ever, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, Mr.
Compliments
President.
of Trump.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you over there.
Oh, my God.
Have a good time.
Thank
nice
you.
to
You
see you.
too, Mr.
Bye,
President.
darling.
See you.
Have a good time. Thank you.
I loved it when David Letterman did it. I mean, it's just kind of fun. It's a good bit.
Absolutely.
And then I saw some images that were like, I don't know if they're real, but Donald Trump put 7 nuggets in my 6 nugget piece box. Like,
yeah. Hey, the
sneaking it in
bags
there.
were huge,
Everything's
man.
getting better. Inflation's down, and Donald Trump will give you extra nugs.
You feel good, He's like, hey, we're gonna make it better than ever, And then man,
Billy goes,
people
maybe you
believe.
can't count.
Maybe not, but who cares? It's free. Hey, it's free food. It's free McDonald's food. I mean, come on. I mean, Nothing can be better than that. A bag of grease and all that. Man, that must have been awesome for all those people.
So look, if Jimmy Carter can vote early, you can too.
You can too. Kamala Khan feeling good after Jimmy Carter voted for her, allegedly. He said he wanted to live long enough so he could vote for Harris. At least that's what his son said. Thank God for early voting, I guess. I think Timmy No Walls is more exhausted than Jimmy Carter, though.
Look, I know many people, if you say I'm tired of this, trust me, I am too. We're fatigued. We're fatigued from it.
That sounds like Saturday Night Live or something with the organ in the background. That was awesome. Hey, Charlie Spearing, he's done some research, a lot of research on Kamala Khan, and wrote a book on her. Nobody really knows who she is. She's basically, well, she's an individual who grew up in Montreal and spent a lot of time in Montreal and then spent some time in the Bay Area. Had a lady that she called a second mother who took her to church sometimes, but her mom knows her spiritual and religious life as well as anyone, of course. Spearing on with Tucker on that.
And so whenever she's in a place where she's speaking to the Black church, she refers to this experience. Whereas when she was running for office in California, her
so
mother
she went to a Black church once.
All the time, apparently,
yeah,
according
okay.
to Kamala.
Got it.
But at the same time, when they were doing magazine articles with Kamala Harris's real mother, she said that, and they were speaking to certain audiences, her real mother said that she grew up in the Hindu temple and practiced all of the traditions and believed in all the Hindu religious practices.
So she was actually a polytheist in childhood.
Growing up. There's your answer right there. A traffic stop in Mason County may have kept about 60 pounds of meth from being sold in Denver. An investigator with the Western Colorado Drug Task Force stopped a vehicle at a gas station in Fruita on October 15th. A search of the vehicle turned up the meth and led to the arrest of two people from California. Investigators discovered that the meth was headed to Denver for distribution. The two people arrested face several drug-related charges, including possession, with the intent to distribute more than 225 grams of meth. World Series coming up. First time in over 3 decades. It's the Dodgers and the Yankees. Game 1 Friday at Dodger Stadium. 47 in Lone Tree, 49 in Westminster, and 50 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue.
Well, first thought, what I think it says is that what the vice president understands is that there are millions of people really disgusted with Trump's constant lying.
Oh, my goodness. Bernie is back. It's Monday. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Cloudy to start your day. There will be some rain showers and a few isolated thunderstorms along the Front Range and mountain areas early in the day, then becoming partly cloudy. Highs will be 65 to 70, clear tonight, low to mid-40s. Mild, dry, low to mid-70s Tuesday, low 70s Wednesday. Cooling off a little bit, breezy and partly cloudy Thursday and Friday. Weather sponsored by branchplanning.com. Secure your future retirement with a reliable income stream. Annuities can provide guaranteed payments, giving you peace of mind. Get your complimentary review at branchplanning.com or call 303-219-0088. Meteorologist Don Day on the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the I always like listening to a little Metallica, man. They get you fired up on a Monday morning. All right, so
you know what they're doing? Okay, we're going to sidetrack here just for a sec. Anybody that's a Metallica fan, go out and check. You can check their YouTube page. You can find it as they're touring for 72 Seasons, which is the world tour right now. They are dropping live performances from each stop, so you can see them perform in all these different cities around the world.
Oh, nice!
It is fan-freaking fantastic if you love the fellas. It is absolutely amazing because it's almost like traveling with them. You get to see them perform. And again, these are professionally shot videos. These things are on point.
Who's the dude that got kicked out of Metallica and then went and created another heavy metal band?
Oh, that's Jason. No, it's Jason Newsted. Wait, Newsted died. Oh God, brain fart because Robert Trujillo took over for him. I'm having a brain fart right now.
And then he never felt. He became like the number 2 metal band, but never could catch.
Oh no,
Metallica.
you're talking about Mustaine, David Mustaine.
Yeah.
You're talking about the guitarist, not the bassist. You're talking about the guitarist.
Get kicked out.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Yeah, because Jason Newsted passed away. Yeah.
And then, but was like never happy because he could never totally, even though he was like wildly successful.
Yeah,
it's like an example of just having the wrong goals.
But it's okay. Wow, this is really cool. Because again, my weird brain. Mustaine though has said some really, really nice things about Metallica since then. He's made the peace and they're friends, and they're actually really good friends now. On a side note, Robert Trujillo performed at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction of Ozzy Osbourne over the weekend. He played in Ozzy's tribute. He was the bassist for Metallica right now. Now, Mustaine has come out, and one of the things that he did recently, he gave a lot of props to the band, and he really acknowledged Kurt Hammett, who replaced him in the band as lead guitarist. And what he said he appreciated most is that Kurt didn't change any of his solos in the songs that he recorded. He said, Kurt went out and he learned my solos. And when they still play them live to this day, he replicates the work that I did in the studio.
Cool.
He didn't take it away from me. He honors it on stage. And he said, for that, he goes, I'm always grateful for Kurt for what he does, honoring my music on stage. It's kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
I
really
like
cool.
that.
Yeah. See, sometimes when you fight, you can become friends. It's like, I like the show sometimes.
All right. So over the weekend in the Wall Street Journal, this guy who's an AI expert put together this opinion piece. And bro,
yeah,
I don't want to live in this world. I don't. I'm done. I'm happy to move on. Now, I'm not going to go and do the crazy doctors or anything like that. But I'm going to abstain from the direction this world is going with brain chips. Right. So he starts the opinion piece talking about how smartphones have totally changed our world. You basically can't live without a smartphone right now. If you do, you're not running a business. You're not, you might be secluded somewhere far off the grid. But if you want to be a part of society, you almost have to have a cell phone and a smartphone, and how much that's changed. Okay. Then he pivots to brain chips and what is coming. All right. The benefits of brain chips, he writes in the Wall Street Journal, will be vastly beyond what external devices offer today. We will be able to take photos of anything we see with our eyes just by thinking. Ditto with video in 3D. We'll be able to send messages to friends by thinking them and to hear their replies played in our minds. We will have conversations with friends remotely, hearing their voices. We used to lock people up for this. And ours without actually having to speak. We'll be able to talk to anyone in any language. We'll be able to...
The Babel fish.
What's that?
The Babel fish. You won't get the reference.
Okay.
It's a sci-fi reference. It comes from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Douglas Adams, one of the great writers of all time and use of the language. Inside the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, they have something that is called the Babel fish. And you place it inside of your ear and it instantly translates any language. Yeah. But again, if you're doing a sci-fi novel, you've got to figure out a way to let the humans talk to the space people. So that was the solution, was the Babel fish. That's what it is you get a Babel fish in your head. Yeah. Sorry.
We'll be able to remember an infinite amount of information, to retrieve any fact by asking our brain chips. You can have Google in your brain. We'll be able to pay for things without carrying a wallet or a phone. We'll be able to hear music piped directly into our brains, to watch movies, to take part in movies, to be totally entertained in new virtual worlds. But oh no, it gets worse.
I love that thing. That all sucks.
We'll even be able to go to sleep quickly whenever we want, and we'll be able to get counseling instantly if we ever have suicidal thoughts.
Jeez.
They're going to read your brain.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Then this is when I was just like, I'm done.
Yeah,
we'll be able to get advertisements pumped directly into our brains.
That's the first thing they're going to master. They're not going to do the whole anything else. The first thing they're going to do is, how do we make this into advertising? That is going to be the first thing, because you know who's going to write the biggest check? McDonald's. They'll write the check. Of course they are.
McDonald's.
Yes.
DJT is just going to show up in your brain handing you fries.
Like, nuggets. Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and then can they affect and be like,
yeah,
we're going to make Jeff hungry for a Big Mac.
Yeah, or make you smell it. Yeah. And change, and change the physiology inside the body. So,
I can't. This is giving me the heebie-jeebies, dude. I don't want to live in this world.
It's just weird.
You can have images hover before your eyes that we can't turn off, he says, except for those opting for the premium subscription.
I'm sorry. If I have to pay a subscription for my brain chip,
to keep you from having to deal with you know they're gonna play this like 200 years from now and be like, look how out of date these guys
look
are.
at how this is silly.
All right, our memories will be organized for us by artificial intelligence under policies crafted by experts who will have society's best interest at heart. We won't have.
That's the beginning of every dystopian science fiction novel out there. That is the opening line of the novel.
We won't have access to information that might be, say, Russian propaganda. So imagine Zuckerberg restricting not just what you can post on Facebook, but what you can think in your brain.
This is getting better and better.
If we have criminal ideas or perhaps just countercultural notions, they'll be referred to the proper authorities before it's too late.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
This is just crazy.
In other words, it will be every dystopian sci-fi drama rolled into one.
Yes.
Right.
All into one. This is just crazy. And the thing is, I think there are reasons for the technology, but I think what we are imagining and where the technology goes is really scary and not okay. The idea for me is the increased mobility for disabled people, getting movement back, things like that.
Fix things that are broken.
Yeah, doing things like that seems like a wonderful thing that you can do with it. If it was maybe the chip could help someone that is dealing with Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, there could be something there that would be absolutely incredible. Could be something that when you're older and you start getting into some memory loss, that maybe this helps with some of that memory loss and some of that memory degradation. But the idea that we are going to do this in order to interact with the world around us is really, really scary. And the other part that's getting me is in order to do this, they're gonna have to cut a hole in your head. If you're talking about brain chips,
up your nose. Was it Total Recall?
Yep, Total Recall. Put the nose. Yeah, but again, are you going to put something into your nasal cavity? Because those nasal cavities don't connect directly to the brain. So if you're going to wire it into the brain, you're going to have to get into your cranial cavity, and that means drilling through your skull. At some point or another, they're going to have to either do that or come to the base of your skull, back where the medulla oblongata is.
Would you do that, though?
No.
I mean, you had all this. See, I wouldn't do it, but think about what he points out a little bit later in the article is like, you can't live without a smartphone right now. And we have ads piped in all the time. You try to watch football, you got ads. You try to play a game, you've got ads. You've got ads around you all the time being piped into a little device you carry around in your pocket. And you almost, and his point being, you can't function in society without a smartphone. I mean, you kind of almost have to live off the grid. And if people start to adapt this, and all of a sudden they're infinitely smarter, right? They can access everything by thinking about it. You're sitting here on your little cell phone asking Google stuff. You're going to have to compete with people that do this. So everybody's going to have to buy into it, he says.
Yeah. I disagree with that on some level, only because these people that are infinitely smarter. So this is the idea, is I'm assuming that we will still have things like people that are manning the checkout stand or stocking shelves and things like that at King Soopers.
Yeah.
We will still have people that are necessarily, involved in those type of jobs. We will still have law enforcement people. We will still have those. We'll still have even teachers per se. What I'm saying is that whether or not the person that is putting some of the stock or managing the stock there in, even if it's all robotic at that point, and they just have to manage the robots that are on this floor of the King Soopers in order to manage the stocking of the store, whether or not they can do long division or immediately recall all the issues behind quantum mechanics because the brain chip seems irrelevant. The person being a genius that is sitting there managing what is going on the stock floor seems irrelevant. So the idea that the author is saying about all of us are going to be super geniuses, I'm not certain that is going to help based on certain qualifications. I don't think that the person that is going to be working the barista at Starbucks, because
it's all
they can
going to be
talk to you about
computer
it.
at that point.
Maybe
But
not.
And then he points out we're going to get helpless. You know, how helpless would it be if
Now, that's
tomorrow, yeah, exactly.
That's what that is.
The internet were suddenly permanently turned off. Think about how much of our lives, memories, relationships are already stored and remembered for us online. We don't even know our best friend's phone number.
Oh,
we don't know how to spell. We don't need to.
Good thing. I say that all the time, that if I lose my phone, I have to become David Carradine in Kung Fu. I have to go wander the earth because I can't call anybody. I'm going to have to go get a whole new life, whole new family. I got no
my
friends.
Parents' landline because when I was a kid, I had to memorize it.
Oh, yeah. I still remember my parents' landline, and I know my mom's cell phone number because I had to memorize it before there was the large, library you could have in your phone number. My family's phone numbers, no clue at all. Not a single idea. Don't have that one memorized at all. The other part, though, is I see what they're doing with the cell phone. But here's the thing is I got my cell phone in my hand right here, and it's dark right now. And I can go like this. And right over there. It's over there, and I don't have to do anything with it. I can plug it in at night, and I can separate myself from it. I can make that conscious choice.
With the brain chip, you can't.
I can't. That's the issue. And so that's why I disagree with the author on the idea of, well, it's just like the cell phone. No, it's not. The connectivity that we have is easier because it is in our hand versus a laptop or a desktop, which is where we started with computers. But putting it in your brain so that you can't ever disconnect it at any point in time, no. And I love that he brought up the idea of the subscription service, because that's where it's going. And you know that what'll happen is if you're not paying your subscription service, they're going to pump that stupid "It's a Small World" in your head all the time. And that's all you're going to hear until you pay the bill. That's all you're going to get. It's a small world.
I know. And the blending of schizophrenia and future technology.
Yes.
By the way, did you see they found the part of the brain?
Yes. I was just going to bring that up.
Actually,
like
results in schizophrenia, because that article is fascinating.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Because we do hear, everybody kind of hears a voice.
Yeah.
Right?
Everyone has an internal monologue.
It's their monologue.
And it's like a 0.5% of the population doesn't have any internal monologue. There are people out there that have no internal.
Really weird. Yeah. But then we have the ability to distinguish, that's just me talking to myself inside my head and somebody outside actually talking to me. And people with schizophrenia don't have that ability, and they found the part in the brain that fails to.
Yeah, they don't.
So maybe they
don't recognize the internal conversation. They think the internal conversation is an external conversation.
Right.
But since they can't find anybody, then that's where the schizophrenia comes from. Yep, that is spooky.
And we all have internal conversations we don't want outside of our head.
I'm just saying that sometimes the voices in my head, though, have really good ideas. Not always
Bill,
safe ones, but good ones.
I'm opposed to the chips.
Yeah.
And I'm going to cover a little bit more in a second. But I'm not opposed to the great healthcare you're getting.
I know. And see, the thing is, this is the difference. It's balanced well space is not going to be cutting open your head and stuffing chips in your brain. Balanced well space is non-invasive medical program, medical experts, better way to put it. It's integrative medicine. That's the word I'm looking for. It's integrative medicine. It's all non-surgical. They don't cut you up. They're not doing stitches or anything else. They're not putting chips in your brain. But what they are doing is taking away your pain. The pain that you and I have been living with for years and years and years. I thought that by getting older, that's just what you did. I had seen the TV shows, the cartoons, that old people are just like, this hurts. I thought that was normal. Guess what? It's not. Your life doesn't have to be that way. My life is no longer that way because of Balance Well Space. I want you to talk to them. Check them out at balancewellspace.com. Balancewellspace.com. Brand new offices in Lowry, right across from Hangar 2, and plenty of parking. When you talk to the team at Balance Well Space, you'll get to meet Dr. Julie, Dr. Jess, everybody else, and they evaluate you. They ask you about your medical history. They'll talk to you about what hurts. What are those things that are giving you pain so much so you are changing what you're doing in your life? I was doing that. I was constraining things that I was doing, the amount that I was walking, the amount of exercise, and a bunch of other things, because the pain that I was constantly in. I'm not doing that anymore. Went out and did a bunch of extra exercise over the weekend because I wasn't worried about feeling like crud the next morning because I was going to hurt myself. Been going to concerts and bouncing around like a fool because my knees feel better thanks to Balance Well Space. My back is no longer tingling. I don't get shooting pains down either one of my legs as I'm sitting here talking to you during the morning as I did months ago. That's the difference that Balance Well Space has made in my life. all non-invasive, all non-surgical. Integrative medicine means you can get neuropathic care, chiropractic care, physical rehabilitation, regenerative care, wave therapy, trigger point injections, and so many more cutting-edge treatments that are just simply out of Star Trek. But no cutting, no surgery, and very quick recovery. It's about getting your body back to where you want it so you can do the things that you want to do. As we're talking right now, I'm regenerating the meniscus in my left knee. Yet again this weekend, I had an instance where I'm carrying an enormous, just big thing of laundry down 2 flights of stairs at our house because evidently my children don't know where the laundry room is. So I had to take the clothes. I'm going down the stairs, and guess what? My left knee, the thing that I used to be worried about, that's not the one that's giving me the pain. I started having popping and cracking in my right knee. My good knee is the one that's giving me problems. The knee that I've got the bad meniscus is solid as a rock right now. And it's thanks to my friends at Balanced Wall Space. I want you to experience the change in your lifestyle that I'm experiencing because of what they can do. But you got to take the first step. You've got to call them. Check them out at balancewellspace.com. Balancewellspace.com. Let them make the same change in your life they've made in mine. And when you talk to them, balancewellspace.com. Tell them you heard about him here on Jeff and Bill because it helps us out tremendously. Thanks.
Great to hear, Bill. You're getting that care. Would love to hear from our listeners. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Would you be willing to get the brain chip if you got instant access to all of the thought power of the internet just by thinking? If everything you've done in your life could be through your eyes put onto servers to be remembered forever. This is a form of transhumanism. I'm not talking about transsexual humanism.
You worried me there for a second.
Transhumanism, transcending human limitations. Would you do it? I'm not so sure. And listen to some of these other problems we may be running into. This comes from an artificial intelligence expert in the Wall Street Journal. You're not going to want to miss it. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS. Who wants a brain chip?
RockyMountainBargains.com, where you'll always pay half price. Why pay retail when you can get what you want at 50% off? Just go to RockyMountainBargains.com and save. Here's this week's featured item.
$100 gift cards from Sean D's Persian Grill in the Denver Tech Center. Get them now for half price.
Get it now at RockyMountainBargains.com for 50% off. RockyMountainBargains.com, where you always pay half price. Restrictions apply. Go to RockyMountainBargains.com for complete details.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. In the Wall Street Journal over the weekend, a piece about transhumanism. No, we're not talking about that debate between Billy and I and Cuttlefish.
Yeah, from the space rhinos.
Dude, everywhere I go, people talk about that debate we had one time.
I'm going to have to bring that
and
back.
They're just like, wait, Bill?
Yeah, I know. Space rhinos.
Space rhino,
Yes.
transgender space rhinos. And then the fish or whatever it was.
Yep.
All right. So, but the transhumanism is the merging of humanity and technology. And this guy in the Wall Street Journal, who's an expert in artificial intelligence and machine learning, spells out how you're really going to almost be forced to do it, because the capabilities that a human's going to have with like total access to the internet just by thinking of it, being able to learn new skills, instantly translate, it's just going to make them so far superior. It's kind of like having a smartphone. You almost can't live without one. But then he goes on to, imagine a world in which not only our friends' phone numbers, but all of our experiences with them, even their names, their faces, are remembered for us and stored remotely on servers somewhere available for us at any time, until they're not.
Or until someone manipulates them. Because remember,
Right.
if it is stored as computer code, that code can be changed. Now we know that.
Wait, like in a certain voting machine.
Nicely done. Nicely
By
done.
the way, did you see Dominion put out a tweet?
Oh,
It
yeah.
was like, you mess with us,
Oh, yeah.
you are going down.
Yeah. And you saw Elon at one of the most recent rallies kind of threw some shade
That is-
talking about
that
it
is
as well. And you're like,
Just a word that shouldn't come
"Ooh."
out of your mouth.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't. No, it shouldn't. And that's the thing is, it's the idea of this sort of confluence of technology and what it means, because we know first, the brain, while it is an incredible computer, storage, not necessarily always on point. Eyewitness testimony is one of the most inaccurate forms of
that's
testimony.
right.
Yeah. In fact, there's a great, the astrophysicist.
The black one.
Yeah.
I watch him all the time,
yeah.
but I can't remember his
I
name right
know,
now.
and
He's
I have a
fun.
brain fart right now. But he has this thing that he
Example.
was
Yep.
actually in a jury trial. They're getting ready for a jury trial, and he has an example, and he says the judge asks him, "Well, this person said, X, Y, and Z, etc., and this is their testimony," and he's like, "Well, based on what I know about eyewitness testimony, I'm uncomfortable going forward and saying I'm going to participate as a juror in this trial and be impartial because of only having eyewitness testimony." And the judge comes back and says, "Is anybody else not okay with having only one witness and being able to find a conviction?" And
That's not what I said.
yeah, and he's like, "That's not what I said. And you were an eyewitness 20 seconds ago and you got it wrong. You proved my point." The nice part was he said that in that jury pool, at least one of the other jurors said, "Hey, that's not what he just said." At least they raised their hand. But yeah, that's how bad it is. And so imagine the idea of being able to go in through computer and manipulate your memories. Right now, on some of the phones, they talk about using AI in order to be able to change the picture. So you take a picture of your friend.
When I saw those pictures of Trump at the drive-thru, I thought they were AI. No, they're actually real.
Exactly. And the idea being, even when, and this is the part that really gets me, is with AI, I now have the ability to take a picture and then manipulate that image in the picture in real time.
Right.
Which isn't about actually capturing the picture. That's about me taking something in the world and then recreating it into something different that didn't actually exist.
So we have this experience already where we can't remember our family members' own phone numbers. We're relying upon technology, and it's taking away some of the skill set we used to have as humans. He writes, what would be left with the brain chips now is a generation of humans who've never had to use their memory at all.
Yeah.
Or do any of their own reasoning, until one day all the chips were turned off. Would there be any benefit left, or only an empty shell? It doesn't take an atomic bomb to destroy humanity. There are other ways. If you don't get a brain chip, you'll have a hard time competing or even living in the modern world. You won't be able to retain endless information, to pick up new skills instantly, to communicate with anyone anywhere. You'll be out of date. You'll be an obsolete human. You might be the last human. So maybe you better get the brain chip after all.
Jeez.
Remember, it's just optional.
Here's the other part, though, is I didn't even think about it until that what you're reading right there is, what happens with something like an electromagnetic pulse?
I know.
What does that do? So, I mean, if
do
someone,
you remember there's one Mission Impossible where they're sticking like little weapons up people's brains and then they can trigger them from far away?
Yeah. It's, and you know,
dude, then think of the Jews and the Palestinians.
Exactly what I was thinking of too. Yes. And so here's the thing is, I mean, if you're talking about we all have brain chips, then is the way to disable a fighting force a large EMP, because then all the soldiers are just going to forget their names and wet themselves because they can't do anything else. It's just like, I'm wet now, and there's nothing else.
You can see why I wanted to get out of here after reading that. I was like,
that's creepy as heck.
I'm happy to just shuffle off this mortal coil well before I have to deal with that. And as a philosopher, I just sat there with my brain going, I can't, it's too much. I don't want to live in that world.
And the weird thing for me, like and this is the weird sci-fi, I wouldn't be on board with this, but I keep thinking that when they talk about it not going for the brain chip, instead they're going to start by implanting something on our arm. And what that would be is something where it's access to our bank accounts and then also text messages and phone, but you'd be able to see it based on something that would come through your skin. So you'd have it there on your arm, and that would be the idea is you'd move the cell phone onto something that would be tactile inside of your skin and your arm. The idea when we get it into the skull, that's the part where I'm like, ooh, there's a connection there that really worries me.
How important is it for you? And I realize I'm not good at this, but to have the option to go watch off, phone off.
Oh, it's amazing.
I'm done. I'm going to go read a book. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go for a run.
It is so important.
But you won't have that with this.
I know.
Ever.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And sometimes when you talk about the subscription services, you won't be able to turn stuff off or you won't be able to access certain things. You know, the idea that no longer you're not going to be able to access this. And how much fun is it going to be if they get the brain chip? Because they're already doing this based on our cell phones that, you know, when you're driving by certain stores, you're going to get an ad in your head. That's going to be super fun.
Yeah, they're already doing that. I saw that with the new cars.
Yep, cars and cell phones.
When you drive by, I think Ford has just patented this or submitted the application for it. When you drive by a Target, now your Ford is going to play a Target ad.
Yeah, it'll pop up. It'll pop up and give you some sort of message about it. Yeah.
Look, I'm all for marketing, advertising. It's been a big part of my life and my family's life. But come on. We're getting a little too much here.
Yeah, it is. And that separation is from the technology is very, very, very important for me. In fact, some of you may remember former newscaster and weather person here in Denver, now talk show host, Angie Austin. One of the things that when she and I were working together that she was always so impressed with is that I would put my cell phone down and when I charge my cell phone, it's in a completely different room from where I sleep. It's not, I leave my cell phone charges in the kitchen, and that is a different floor, a different flight of stairs away from where I sleep because I don't care.
I noticed no text message or email responses from Bill till Monday morning.
Yeah.
By the way,
I'm like, nope, this is
great
done.
text from the bread. And the brain chip brought to you by Pfizer.
Breadman, that's fantastic.
All right. Want to talk to you about my good friend Dan Caplis and Dan Caplis Law. I've known Dan for well over a decade. This guy's pro-life, pro-family, pro-America. He's with us on the values. That matters because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everyone involved in the case. Dan's the son of a police officer and a former seminarian who's dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping people who are hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer. Listen to this. He's not just great. He's a real winner. In Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases, Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado history. Dude, he's a winner. That matters because Dan Caplis Law is the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. They trust him. He leads a serious firm for serious cases, but you might probably thinking to yourself, this guy's just for the rich and wealthy. No, Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. If you need Dan's help, give him a call at 303-770-5551. That's 303-770-5551 or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S law.com. You know, after Breadman says that, there's going to be a big portion of this country that will not get the brain chip, at least for a long time. because
Probably smart.
I mean, there's a lot of people that didn't get vaxxed either.
Oh,
so
we forgot about this. I'll tell you just for a second. Do you know when they were first testing Neuralink, what happened with the monkeys?
Oh no!
Oh, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. When they were testing the monkeys, vast majority of them suffered horrible side effects. One, it's hard to communicate.
Like seizures and
seizures. There's
strokes.
More than that, trying to get it out, like clawing at their heads,
no,
and pulling apart. Yeah, pulling open. They had one monkey that smashed his head into the ground until he gave himself fractured skull because he's trying to get it out. Digging at their heads where the chip is. Yeah, going nuts at times. Some really awful physical side effects. And again, because it's hard to tell the monkeys what you're doing and why this is happening, etc. But their response was absolutely everything you would expect out in a horror film.
How much would it take for you to go through that experiment? If you knew you could pass it on to your family,
you would probably have to threaten to take a major body appendage, and that's about where
for
I
you.
get.
So
I don't think
if someone came to you and said $100 million,
oh, that's a hard one. Probably not. That's a hard one for me because for me, it's a loss of my humanity. That's the core of it. That's where it bought. And I hate to pull it back that far, but that's where it is what you're doing is you're putting something inside of me.
$1 billion. Your family would be set for life. This is experimental.
Maybe
I probably would for $1 billion.
Maybe on $1 billion, but you know what I'm doing in the background? I'm planning how I'm going to kill myself afterwards.
Oh, well, don't do that.
That's what I'm looking at. Because that's how it is. For
you don't
me,
want to live with that brain chip.
It's hard for me to get to this, but it is. It's like robbing part of my humanity.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. The philosophers are having fun. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNU.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. It's been an absolutely fantastic show as we dove into everything from Trump and McDonald's to is Elon Musk illegally buying votes? Christians welcome at Kamala Harris's rallies. And then, of course, my favorite, brain chips.
I don't know how to get those Musk bucks. I need some of those. What did I need?
Only if you get the brain chip. All right. If you missed any of the show, go to 710knus.com. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS. Enjoy your Monday.